For an official Rob Brown lockdown. Unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas. This is the Rob Brown Show.
Like Justin Jefferson, baby, I'm a catch. Welcome in the Rob Brown Show on your radio. This is the Fan Upstate. Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Great to be with you. What's happening? How y'all doing, folks? It is Monday morning, bright and early. The sun is shining. The sky is blue. We are glad to be back. Back in the saddle again, as Steven Tyler said. My name is Rob Brown. Directly across from me, my co-host, my executive producer, the Alpha and the Omega of the Fan Upstate, the guy in charge of the show. The great one, Lonzo, is here as well. What up, Zo? Happy Monday, man.
Hello, Joe Cocker. I'm so glad to be working with you.
Joe Cocker. Wow.
That rasp wasn't there earlier.
No.
It just suddenly, as soon as you went on the air, you brought it and you broke it.
It's the sexy voice.
There you go. You may have to go with that.
That's what I'm going to call it.
Someone out there thought Joe Cocker was sexy.
Joe Cocker, what a reference. Not mad about it. It is Monday morning. We have got a billion things to get to on the show, ladies and gentlemen. Plenty of stuff to chat about on the radio broadcast today. The NFL was wild. Green Bay knocks off Dallas. Minnesota takes down Josh Allen. Lonzo with the smile creeping across the grill at the reference. Let me go ahead and ruin that. Tom Brady gets the dub in Munich over Geno Smith and beats the spread in the process. Zoe, I didn't think Jacksonville was going to win. I thought my 9.5 number was good. Almost had it. Open with the onside kick recovered by the kicker. And I'm like, oh, we get 9.5.
Oh, that was a good move. It was a good move. But, there's a guy on the other side of the field.
That's true.
Good. Yeah.
That's true. Great. By the way, speaking of Green Bay over Dallas, what is Mike McCarthy doing going forward on 4th and 6 with a game on the line, well inside of field goal range? What are you doing, Mike? What are you doing?
It's a guy who spent a lot of time there, knows how the winds and all that factor in, and knows that his kicker couldn't make a 53-yard field goal.
That was questionable.
Unless he makes it. Then also, oh man, he's yeah, way to go.
Nailed it. Texas said, how about them Rebels, son? Yeah, the Burns Rebels. I have to tell you, so for those of you that were listening, because we had to go online and on 13:30 a.m. with the Rebels game because they were up next to a Furman football game. I had to miss Saturday. I had an event that had been scheduled for months that I couldn't miss. And it absolutely devastated me not to be on that call. I was listening to my guys Sam and Lane make the call. I will be back in the box this Friday when the Rebels move on to round 3 of the South Carolina High School football playoffs and head on the road taking on Gaffney. I'll be back in the box for that one. That's a big one, man. That's a big one.
You're going to the reservation.
Have not been there yet. Have not been there. Obviously, the game against Gaffney was at Nixon Field. So this will be my first time on the reservation. I've heard good things. It should be a hell of a football game. Very good Gaffney team, defending state champions. But a Gaffney team that came into Burns for the regular season finale and brought everybody. They came to play, and the Rebs won that game. So the Rebels going to be on the road one more time again on Friday night. We'll have that call. Can't wait, man. Can't wait. Talk a little high school ball as we move on. College football was wild. And let's just say that if you're a Gamecock, I need you to go ahead and prepare yourself. Because unless you get a good bowl draw, you're not winning another game this year. You're just not. Clemson found their stride again. DJ hit that 70% mark we've been looking for.
Oh, he's not the problem on that team.
Nope.
But anyway.
Nope. Clemson looks good. Tennessee dumped 66 on a Missouri team that y'all could barely score against. How many points do I have to get you? How many points do I have to give you to get you to take South Carolina against Tennessee this weekend? 40? If I said right now, Lonzo, I'll give you South Carolina minus 35 against Tennessee. Are you taking that?
No.
No. If I said South Carolina minus 40, are you taking that? Honestly, I'm not.
I don't know. Tennessee might get tired. They might.
Yeah, I mean, once you run 10 to 12,000 yards, it tends to get a bit exhausting.
Well, Tennessee is they're a one-loss team, so they're going to try to score as many points as they can, just on the off chance that some other teams lose and they have a prayer to get in the championship.
I mean, right. It basically comes down to Georgia's going to win the East because there's just nobody left for Georgia, right? There's nobody left for Georgia. Georgia's got Kentucky, who just lost to Vanderbilt.
So culture
Vanderbilt
or climate? Which one is it?
I forgot.
Yeah, it's climate. Maybe you need some more culture.
Need a little culture change there in Kentucky.
Come out with some sunglasses next week, and things will just brighten up for you there.
Well, I say that. I say Georgia's got nobody left. LSU was looking better. 13-10, they survive Arkansas. The same Dude, here's why I love college football. Last weekend, LSU beats the number, 7 team in the country, Alabama, in overtime, 2-point conversion. LSU beats Bama. Last week, Lonzo, Arkansas lost to Liberty. And then this week, Arkansas was a hair away from knocking off LSU. College football is still wild, man. But you got LSU at the very end of the year if you are the Georgia Bulldogs, right? With Kentucky and Georgia Tech between here and there. That would be, by the way, the LSU game is the SEC championship game. That's working under the assumption that Georgia does not fall to Kentucky, who lost to Vanderbilt, or Georgia Tech, the Ramblin' Wreck, and they are emphasis on the wreck right now. They lost to Miami, the same Miami team that got beat by 40 by FSU. Georgia Tech lost at home to Miami 35-14. They're going to get drummed by Drake May and the Heels this weekend. And then that game is at Georgia. So Tennessee is looking at this and going, all right, here's the deal. The Georgia Bulldogs are in. That ticket's punched. The only question is, are they going in as number 4 or are going in as number 1 or number 4? Right? They're in. If LSU wins the SEC championship game, they're in. Their ticket's punched to Atlanta. By way of their win this weekend and the win over Alabama, they've got a straight-up tiebreaker. So LSU wins the West after their defeat of Arkansas this weekend. If LSU was to beat Georgia, they will be a 2-loss SEC champion going to the dance. Remember, the first loss for the LSU Fighting Tiger Men's.
Wait. I'm confused here. So you're saying if LSU wins the SEC, they're going to be in the playoff?
They're going to the playoff.
No way.
Absolutely.
No way they put in a 2-loss team. It hasn't happened yet, has it?
I don't believe it has. I also don't think it matters. An SEC champion with an L to FSU, who, by the way, is now a top 20 team,
You picking LSU over Georgia?
Not a damn chance. Not a chance.
No, I'm not saying it can't happen, but I mean,
Not a chance. But we discuss hypotheticals on the show.
Wow. Can't
So
believe that.
if LSU knocks off Georgia in the SEC championship game, again, they won't. But if they do, LSU's going, Georgia is going, Tennessee's getting locked out. But if Georgia defeats LSU in the SEC championship game, which they will, Tennessee at this point is playing for style points. Because if Tennessee keeps dumping 60 a game on everybody else, they got a chance, right? Their only loss is to the Georgia Bulldogs, who would be an undefeated SEC champion. If you're going to have a loss, Georgia's the team to have it to this year. So if they keep putting up, here's their scores for the year: 59, 34, 63, 38, 40, 52, 65, 44, 27 against, 13 against Georgia, 66. If they keep putting 40s, 50s, and 60s on folks, they got a chance with the style points to get in, because you've got right now Ohio State and Michigan. One of those teams is going to take an L at the end of the year, right? Thanksgiving weekend, one of those two teams is taking an L. That would put both Tennessee at 11-1 and either Ohio State or Michigan at 11-1. Tennessee, by way of playing in the SEC, sorry about it. I know it gets under your skin, but it is what it is. By way of playing in the SEC, an 11-1 SEC team is going to get more credit than a 11-1 anybody else team. And I got proof of that in the fact that 8-2 LSU is ahead of 9-1 USC, and 8-2 Alabama is ahead of 9-1 Clemson.
So I have a problem with your thought process there. So either Ohio State or Michigan will have lost to an undefeated team,
right,
at the end of the season.
Right.
Why is their one loss? Why isn't that one loss better than Tennessee's loss?
Because Tennessee's one loss is going to the not wire to wire number one, but the number one for every week except the one where Alabama jumped them and then lost twice, right? It's going to come down to SOS. Well, it's going to come down to strength of schedule, and Tennessee's got the edge.
Tennessee might very well sneak in there, but I disagree with you. LSU, even if they win the SEC championship, no way they're getting in. There's going to be too many good one-loss teams to put in a two-loss team in there.
Any one-loss team that is not a conference champion will get in line behind a two-loss team that is out of the SEC. I don't like it either. I'm not a big fan. But LSU is a two-loss SEC champ, 11-2 SEC, because here's the other part. While they do have two losses, they will also end up with a conference champion and the same amount of wins as everybody else, right? 11-2. I think they will end up going in probably as number 4, unless the playoff committee decides to slot them ahead of a one-loss conference runner-up, right? Yeah, that team has a fewer loss, but in literally the last head-to-head game, they took the L to this team. You can't have LSU beat Georgia in the SEC title game, but then slot them behind Georgia. Can't do it, in my opinion. So I think a two-loss LSU would get in. That being said, I don't think it's going to matter because I think Georgia beats LSU. All right. So Georgia will be 1. The winner of Ohio State and Michigan will be 2. The only team we're waiting to find out here what happens next is TCU. The Horned Frogs took Texas's best shot, weathered the storm on the road in Austin, got out of there 17-10. They have got a game but not great Baylor team. They are back home to finish up against Iowa State and then the Big 12 championship game, which I don't think I don't think TCU eats a loss, right? I just don't think TCU eats a loss right now. There's nobody else in the Big 12 that I trust to beat TCU. They are better than even we have given them credit for, and we've been giving them credit on the show. So Georgia 1, the winner of Ohio State, Michigan 2, undefeated TCU, a Big 12 champion 3, and now we're fighting it out for slot number 4. If LSU beats Georgia, LSU goes in, they probably go in 3rd, right? If LSU beats Georgia, Lonzo, I'm going to go Ohio State 1, TCU 2, LSU 3, Georgia 4 will be your mix. If Georgia wins, it'll be Georgia 1, winner of Ohio State, Michigan 2, TCU 3, Tennessee 4, assuming that Tennessee runs roughshod the rest of the year. All of this to circle back around to, sorry, Gamecocks, you're losing by 50 this weekend in your house.
Wait. You left the team out there in your the ACC champion doesn't have a shot at getting in. Okay.
They're irrelevant. All right. Sorry, Clemson. You're irrelevant now as well at 9-1. You're not getting in. There's no way to get in. You're not jumping. You got Georgia, LSU, and Tennessee all ahead of you out of the SEC. They will put 2 of those teams in before they put it at Clemson. And by the way, you got 8-2 Alabama ahead of you as well, right? Because Alabama's got 2 losses on the schedule, sure. But their 2 losses are to 1 loss Tennessee and now a top 7 LSU team on the road for both. I told you when Clemson lost at Notre Dame, that's a killer. That's a killer. You would have, if Clemson beats Notre Dame right now, Zoe, they're probably sitting there at number 5, right? They're behind Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU. If they're undefeated. But they were, I genuinely think, Lonzo, I think Clemson was the only team inside of the top 10 that had to have perfection to get in, right? Because they don't play anybody else in that top 10. If they had one game against a top 10 team that they were able to win, you could eat an L in that game and be okay. But Georgia has got Tennessee. They've got LSU. Ohio State's got Michigan. The only team that doesn't is TCU. Another team that, just like Clemson, by the way, has to be perfect to get in. TCU cannot lose a game. If they do, they're dropping back to around that 11 mark by Clemson. TCU's got to be perfect. So far, they have been. Tennessee can afford a loss. LSU can afford 2 losses if they win the SEC. USC, I don't even think USC can afford a loss, right? They're 9-1, sitting there at number 7. But I think your 4 teams are already inside the top 6. It's just a matter of what order do they wrap up in. Now, let's keep talking about this. I want your thoughts. Preferred Home Services text line 71307. Start your text with FAN. Texter says, Rob, I need 64 points to take Carolina. So I got to tell you, I'm not far off from that number. Genuinely, 64 points would probably be around the number I need to get me to take Carolina in this game.
Yeah, after that performance Saturday, it's going to be hard to be positive at all.
There's none. There's zero positive.
But you know what?
Positivity is I don't want to sleep on the couch.
Yeah, but you know what? They're exactly where most people thought they would be. So, I mean, you know.
Here's the problem with that. I get that. You know what? Hold that thought. Hold that thought. Zoe says they're exactly where we thought they would be. They are. And I have a problem with it. And I'll tell you what that is when we come back here in just a minute. My name is Rob Brown. The great one, Lonzo, is on the other side of the board, my co-host and EP. I want you on the text line at 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. Shoot a text to 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N. We'll read them on the air. Then Give us a buzz. 844-FAN-PHONE. 844-326-3663. 844-326-3663. Get on the air with us. And hit us up on Twitter at The Rob Brown Show, at Lonzo on Word. Zoe says South Carolina is exactly where we thought they would be. I agree. And I got a problem with it. I'll tell you what that is when we come back. My name is Rob. He's the great Lonzo. This is The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate.
QC.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, stay right there. I will return very briefly.
It means we're obligated to act in our client's best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structure, so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because that priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients.
So about the aforementioned on the stream person who's getting a lot of flack about something without me naming names, just yawn and move on. You don't know the joy and elation that that person is feeling right now because people are biting. Don't be that kind of fish. If you play into that, you know, the fisherman wins.
There's nothing worse than coming home from a cold day to find out that your heater isn't working. When this happens, you need an HVAC.
Muting also works. Yeah, if you want to do that.
Heating and Air. Their HVAC specialist will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating
I'm guessing the answer to that, Stephen, would be no, but you never know. Reacting fuels fire, Trey, and that's what we're supposed to do is get that kind of reaction. If you really dislike what someone's doing, do what you did. Just mute them and just ignore them. I mean, that hurts those people more than anything. Steven wants to know if you saw Wakanda Forever.
Tonight. Courtney and I were going to go see it yesterday night, but she wasn't feeling good. So we're going to go tonight.
Coming up on a Monday episode of Offsides with Mark Ryan and Diesel, we will be able to analyze whether Clemson has rebounded from the embarrassment against Notre Dame. You will know if I am wearing the yoke if South Carolina won at
You ain't missed nothing.
Offsides with Mark Ryan.
It's all fun. It's all entertainment, but some people do take it way, way too seriously.
Our Kevin, our Bills fan, is in a state of existential crisis right now. He said, Rob Alonzo, I'm not as hurt by the Gamecocks loss as I am by my Bills loss. Go Bills, but JA-17 isn't the MVP. My man went out there with a busted up elbow and provided us with the NFL game of the year. That's the best game of the year so far, right?
No.
No?
No. Patrick Mahomes wasn't involved in it. So I was watching something. I can't remember what I was watching this morning that was talking about who's thrown more interceptions. And I think Josh Allen might be like up there as the leader or close to it.
I'll find that. I'm curious.
When you have a risk taker throwing the ball who believes in
Josh
himself,
Allen leads the league in interceptions. However, he is behind only Patrick Mahomes in touchdowns, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. So if you have a gunslinger like a Brett Favre back in the day, or whoever you want to throw in there, they're going to throw some interceptions because they have the utmost confidence in themselves and their ability to get that ball wherever they think they can get it. And sometimes they're wrong.
Patrick Mahomes leads the league in passing yards. Christian McCaffrey leads the league in yards per attempt.
And how many games did he miss?
Granted, he is 1 for 1 on the season, but it was 1 for 1 with a 34-yard touchdown.
It was pretty good. It wasn't a bad pass either.
All right, let's get to the South Carolina thing. We'll come back to NFL quarterbacks later in the show because I do want to have a conversation.
Wait. We're bypassing the NFL to talk more college?
Yeah, that's what we do here. That's what we do. We're college football guys.
According to other people.
We're college football guys.
Okay, all right.
So South Carolina is exactly where we thought they would be. A bowl-eligible football team. 6-6 at the beginning of the year was the mark, right? Well, I feel like this dead horse has been beaten, buried, brought back up, and beaten again. 6-6 was the mark. 7-5. Hey, great job, everybody. 8-4. Damn, we turned the corner. They're 6-6. They're not going to win another football game. Sorry, Gamecock fans. I'm not discouraging you from going to Columbia this weekend. But it's going to be a quiet car ride back. Okay? It just is. That being said, I'm disappointed, and here's why. Let's start with the biggest factor that hasn't really gotten mentioned so far.
Marshawn Lloyd was hurt.
Correct. Exactly correct. Marshawn Lloyd was hurt. How much would it have mattered? I don't know, Lonzo, because Jaheim Bell tried to shoulder the
I
load.
was going to say, Marshawn doesn't play defense, though, but
Right.
still.
Marshawn
Neither
doesn't
did South
stop
Carolina
them.
Saturday.
Bingo. Marshawn does not stop them from giving up 38 points, including 21 in the opening quarter of play, and at least 3 in the second, third, and fourth quarter, right? Marshawn don't do that. Maybe he makes the score a little more respectable, but I don't even know if that's the case. Marshawn's a great running back, right? Marshawn's going to the league. He's a great running back. I got no doubt about that. Jaheim Bell tried to carry the load. And because there was no threat elsewhere, because there is some, for whatever reason, extreme fascination with running the unblocked wide receiver screen for 2 yards out of Marcus Satterfield. I don't understand it. I don't get it. But hey, I'm not the OC. Spencer Rattler is not the issue. He has an issue, but he is not the issue. 18 of 26, 145, no touches, no picks. The only touchdown for the Gamecocks obviously came on the fake punt where Dak Joyner threw a 48-yard TD pass on a fake punt. That's it. It's the only offense generated that resulted in points. Couldn't even get a field goal on the road at Florida. It's atrocious, right? I know that there has been a lot. I'm very excited to talk to Emily Adams on Wednesday about this. I know that there has been a lot of discussion about, Marcus Satterfield's a great guy, and Marcus Satterfield and Shano are buddy-buddy, and Marcus Satterfield is, he's a hardworking, dedicated guy, and some of the players have come out to defend Marcus Satterfield, and that's all well and good. But the offensive play calling for this team is but with a couple of extra T's on the end of it.
Okay. All right. See, here's the problem for me with this. This is a team built from a transfer portal. This is a team that is, I mean, I don't know what people expected in what year is this? Year 2?
Yeah.
Year 2. Did you expect such a, and Beamer had to go out and build the team this way. So you're getting a bunch of guys who couldn't hack it somewhere else and decided to come here. It's going to take a while. And you could have the best offensive coordinator in the world over there. If you don't have the talent on the field to execute it, it's still not going to work. When you make that less than mid team Florida look like they're world beaters, that says a lot about the state of your team more than it does them. When you get the Florida fans that come out of the woodwork and put their hats and jerseys on and tip their caps and all the stuff that they do after their team wins one game against a team that they should have beat. This was the national championship for Florida. Florida was not bowl eligible yet. South Carolina, I think, has backed off a little bit. They got where they wanted to get to, and now they're not hungry like they should be. But Florida was hungry because this was their best shot of making it to a bowl game, was beating South Carolina, and they played that way.
A couple of things happened with Florida. Number one, Lonzo's spot on. This game was for bowl eligibility, right? Florida was staring down the pipe of potentially, if they lost that game, falling to 4-5 and having to win out. Their last 2 games are on the road. They are at a Vanderbilt team, which just beat Kentucky. Bad Vanderbilt team. Let's not pretend like Vandy's anything other than Vandy. It's a bad team. But just beat Kentucky, right? And for whatever reason, every now and then just gives the Florida Gators fits. Florida at Vandy gives them fits.
And Florida's not winning their last game.
Right, and then they're at – I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, they're not.
I wouldn't go that far.
Come on. If they have the attitude of their fans, they're going to go out and they're going to struggle with Vanderbilt again because they're like, yeah, we're back. Yeah, you just beat South Carolina. I mean, come on.
I did notice that. I did see a lot of Florida fans that were like, we made them look silly. I'm like, did you? Did you? Or did they just look silly? Because they just kind of look silly, right? They're at Florida State. Top 25 FSU, by the way, now. And Doak is sold out for that game. Doak sold that game out 2 weeks into the season. They sold out after FSU beat LSU. Doak got sold out for the Gators coming to town on Black Friday. That's a Friday night game in Tallahassee. And for those of you that have never been to Tallahassee, Florida, I used to broadcast in Destin, Panama City, less than 2 hours from Tallahassee. I have covered my fair share of games in Tallahassee. Let's just say Friday nights in the Tally tend to get a little wild. The Doak is going to be rocking for that one. So Florida needed this one to make sure that they didn't have the pressure put on them in those last two. Blah, blah, blah. You got clowned, Gamecocks. You just did. You don't have to like it. This is not me beating up on your team. I've given your team their flowers multiple times this season. You don't deserve them right now. I am not pinning this all. In fact, I'm not pinning this game even a lot on Spencer Rattler. I will say this. Spencer Rattler to me, Lonzo, has zero value as an NFL quarterback now. Zero. Not because he lost. A lot of quarterbacks lose and then turn it around in the NFL. Spencer Rattler has zero value to me because Rattler is a two progression read quarterback, right? He looks at wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and if neither's there, he panics and he runs and he dumps it out of the back of the end zone or 12 rows deep. Every time. That's not going to work. And knowing that he is a two progression quarterback, the offensive play calls are very much not catered to him at all. Not catered to him at all. And it's a problem. Why is it that the Gamecocks on 3rd and 8 love nothing more than the unguarded wide receiver screen? You know, it's not even a screen, right? Why would you call it a screen when there's no screen? There's no screen. You just throw it out to the wide receiver and pray that somebody like Xavier Legette or somebody like, I don't know, Jaheim Bell can run through 3 defenders for 8 yards. It's not going to work.
So here's a question. You've already said that Spencer Rattler, is not an NFL quarterback. I agree with you. But he's not going to the NFL. He's going to come back another year, right? He's only a junior.
I'm going to tell you right now.
Do you want him to come back?
Here's something else that I caught in that game. You can play in 4 games without burning a red shirt. Luke Doty has played in 4 games so far. Luke Doty did not check into that game at any point, right? Granted, after the first, Florida had built up the 21-point lead. And I thought, all right, they got to make a change, right? They did not. Asked after the game why, Shano said, I did not feel like putting Luke into a game that we had already lost was worth burning the red shirt. He said, I'm not committing to not playing him, but I wasn't going to burn his red shirt for a game that we've already lost. I think Spence, the writing's on the wall for Spence, right? You're welcome to stick around and be a backup, but this ain't working. Check this out. 14, 17, 11, 6, 9, 6, 6, 16, 3, 4, 28. You know what those were? Those were all the third down and distances that the Gamecocks did not convert into a first down, including a 3rd and 3 and a 3rd and 4. Third down and distances were 14, 17, 11, 16, 28, 6, 9, 6, 6, 3, and 4. All of those failed to convert. So there are way too many third downs that have double-digit numbers in them. There are way too many third downs inside of 6 yards that did not have a first down, including a 3rd and 3 and a 3rd and 4. When you can't get, I'm not talking about scoring points, y'all. When you can't get freaking first downs in this game.
Yeah, but the thing is, that's not just a Spencer Rattler problem. That's the offensive line. That's the receivers getting open. That's definitely the running game, which was lacking because of injury. So it's the entire offense. It's not just Spencer Rattler.
I agree. Spencer Rattler is not the problem. He is a problem. I'm not going to pull a punch on that, but he's not the problem. Marcus Satterfield is the problem. I'm sorry. I from what I understand, he's a great dude, right? He's a nice guy. I got no issue with him.
Maybe Jeff Saturday's available.
Oh, Jeff Saturday going 1-0. Jeff Saturday made Derek Carr cry. I got no problem with Derek Carr crying, right? Like I was listening this morning, no shot at the DA show, but they were like, "You can't cry. There's no crying in football." It's like, it sucks. Like I can't imagine what Derek Carr feels like coming off of a playoff season last year. They bring in Devontae, so they're supposed to be better, and he gets beat not by first year coach. By first game, never worn an NFL headset, only high school experience coach Jeff Saturday and the Colts.
He's not crying because of that. He's crying because he knows he's done with the Raiders. That's why he's crying.
You just lost to the Colts. I would want to be done with the Raiders. I'm out of here. I hope you and Josh McDaniels are happy together. It's like when the girlfriend rides off with beef. You're like, you know what? I'm better off. Enjoy beef. Enjoy Josh Beef McDaniels. Vegas. I'm out. You're not where you're supposed to be, South Carolina. I mean, you are where we thought you would be. But my goodness, like not only have you not
it still bothers me because where did you expect them to be?
Not losing 38-6 on the road at Florida, at a 4-loss Florida. Compete. I'm not saying win. I'm not saying you have to win the game. Hell, I picked Florida to win this game, if you recall.
No, listen, I agree with you about needing to compete, needing to have some drive,
you got your ass kicked and you laid down,
needing to try, and they didn't appear to do that.
They got their ass kicked and they laid down. You know, the one superlative I've been able to hand Shane Beamer most of the time is that even when they got smoked, they didn't lay down, right? Even when they got smoked, they didn't lay down. But they laid down. You weren't even competitive. It was the same crap from start to finish until the Florida Gators worked you over, took you lunch money, and threw you on the wrong bus. Garbage.
I was there till the wrong bus thing. I don't, is this something happened to you?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately, did not.
You just said, yeah, right away. So
no, there were no buses where I come from.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. It's limos. I forgot.
Right. They took you lunch money. And they didn't even send you home to mama. They're like, you should be too embarrassed to go home to mama. Go somewhere else. Go sit in a gas station parking lot and think about what you did. It was embarrassing, man. It was the first. Here's why I'm not happy with where they are, Lonzo. It is the first time in an L that I was embarrassed for the Gamecocks. Embarrassed, right? I went to that game last year when Clemson beat them 30-0 in their own house. But they freaking fought in that game, man. There's no fight in this game. There's no fight in this game. All right. Texter says Spencer Rattler is a Canadian Football League prospect. The Montreal Alouettes could use him. A handoff machine, maybe. Let's take a break. Come back, wrap up this hour on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Did my own high school football team log in to tell me I'm wrong? I feel like I know who's running that account.
No. They tuned in to say that I'm right.
Yeah,
there you go.
You know, little A, column A, little column B. Good to see you, Burns Rebels football. Wink, wink. That's awesome. Love my own football team logging in to own me live on my own show.
Well, you deserve it since you deserve a little bit.
What a run.
After last week.
What a run.
Wait. Is this the right one?
Watch Furman Paladins football all season long on the Fan Upstate. Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate and listen
Sounds
on your
old.
phone. I'm Chip Sanders, and that's your Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
Tell me I'm gonna have to yell at Tim.
At Tim.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Tim.
yes. No, it says today's date. I need to listen a little bit closer, I guess.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back. If your first bet doesn't win, just sign up for the promo code.
That's the kind of thing that's
James is on right
yeah,
now.
that's the kind of thing that's said at the Waffle House at 2 a.m. Yeah. So Saturday night on the way home, because since I had to come to work, Cameron had to drive separate. Get home, he's like, "What in the world is wrong with all this traffic?" It's like it's all the Clemson folks heading back, and it was. You know, it takes them not long to get out of there. There are cops everywhere, pulling them over right and left. So I wonder if that happens at different spots. It's the first time I've seen it on 385, but they were pulled over a bit. It was like NASCAR out there.
This feature sponsored by Dell. Dell Technologies Black Friday event starts now with up to 50% off select business PCs powered by 12th Gen Intel Core processors, plus savings on accessories and free shipping. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. The Upstate Holiday Light Show opens Thanksgiving night at Greenville Pickett Speedway. Drive through a nighttime Christmas wonderland as 32 million colors set the sky ablaze, synchronized to the music of your favorite holiday classics. UpstateLights.com.
Hey, we've gone 47 minutes and haven't talked about Clemson yet. That one guy, he's going to be ticked off.
That one guy.
That one guy.
Personalized content based on user's location, intuitive online ordering, and increase in organic search visibility.
Some of the game yesterday, one of my buddies is there with his daughter, who's, I don't know, 11, 12. And she's like, Rob, Mr. Rob, can you get me up on the big board about the Jumbotron? She's like, can you get me up on the big board? I'm like, I don't know. Let me see what I can do. And she looks at me with a confidence that I wish I could pay money for. And she goes, hey, put in a good word. And it was just like business transaction. It was amazing. Put in the good word for me.
Did you come through?
Yeah, sure did. When somebody looks you in the face and goes, get it done, you know what I mean?
I mean, so the confidence was warranted. I mean,
it worked.
Michelin wiper performance, clearer than ever. Upgrade to Michelin premium wipers today at Walmart, Amazon, Tire Kingdom, and other fine retailers.
From the Ingalls Market Studio, the
Upstate. 97.7 FM Greenville. 97.1 FM Spartanburg.
that sort of thing doesn't, pop out to me. I'm sure Rob saw it, though.
I did, Kevin. And let me just say this and go ahead and upset most of y'all.
You did what?
Kevin said, did y'all see how big the beers were in Germany yesterday?
Were they in Steins?
There were some Steins, otherwise plastic buckets. I don't know if did you watch any of that game, Tampa, Seattle?
I watched some of it, yeah.
Did you watch towards the end of the game?
No, because they were going to win. I'm like, I don't want to see this.
Tell you the most ridiculous damn thing I've ever seen. In fact, during the break, Lonzo's going to talk to you on the stream because I'm going to go find the audio from it, right? They get to the end of that game. And for some reason in Munich, Germany, Deutschland, they started playing John Denver's Country Roads. And the stadium was singing it so loudly that the dudes on play-by-play in color couldn't talk. They're like, this is wild. This is wild. It was. Munich, Germany was the site of the best NFL crowd so far this season. They were engaged.
So what makes them a great
entertained. It was
crowd?
amazing.
Because they sing a song, it makes them a great crowd?
No.
A great crowd was in Arrowhead yesterday. Come on.
Right. Okay. So
Come
just
on.
for the record, when we rank NFL things, everything we rank Kansas City's number 1, unless it's bad, and then Kansas City's 32.
Yes.
So everybody else, we're just all fighting for number 2.
If I'm in a stadium and you start singing John Denver, I'm leaving.
Country roads take me home. It was incredible, dude. It was incredible.
So that's how caught up they are on the music scene here in America. They're singing John Denver.
Hey, you say what you want. Country Roads remains a top 3 sing-along tune.
They probably
all
still
time.
think he's alive too.
It's better than the 913 different stadiums in America that all use Sweet Caroline. Ba, ba, ba. That's the only thing I dislike.
That's
about,
pretty annoying because that ruined that song. The other thing is
so good, so good, so good.
What happened to the Hoff? Is he done
Don't
in
hassle
Germany?
the Hoff. Don't hassle
Is he
the
done
Hoff.
in Germany?
No.
Why are they not playing
David Hasselhoff's huge in
playing
Germany.
Freedom from Hasselhoff?
I don't know that they didn't. All right.
Took me a second to remember. I think that's the name of that song. When he was singing on top of
I
the
was
wall.
going to say, is that the one he sang at the Berlin
Yeah,
Wall?
yeah, I believe so.
David Hasselhoff single-handedly took down the Berlin Wall. Like Ronald Reagan claimed credit for it, but we all know it was David Hasselhoff, right? Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. And they're like, yes, but only because Hass told us to. Only because the Hoff said so.
So his drunken videos have taken him down to a degree that he's no longer sang in the stadium. They went with John Denver instead. So disappointed.
Top 4 American sports sing-along songs. Sweet Caroline, Almost Heaven, West Virginia. What else goes on that list? Best stadium sing-alongs. What else goes on that list? That's what I'm doing in the break. I'm finding that
just
audio.
Start Me Up by, I mean, you know, I don't
That's
Yeah,
not really
that's-
a sing-along, though. It's just a chant, right? They also did that. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Don't Stop Believing goes on that list, right? As a great stadium sing-along.
all those songs are like out in the 60s and 70s. I mean, is there nothing new that's good enough to be in a stadium?
Wow, we break down bad Gamecocks and Germany beer and John Denver, but no Clemson love yet. Last week they lose in the first hour was nothing but Clemson. My goodness, it's almost like, Texter, it's almost like there's 3 damn hours to this show. And it's almost like we're not even 33% of the way through it. And it's almost like maybe, just maybe, you haven't seen my show prep.
It's okay, though. I can't wait to talk about Clemson.
Big win. Did what they were needed to do. DJ completes 70%. They run for the over 200 they needed to win. Will Shipley hits a highlight jump.
Be glad that you have those hometown refs. That's all I'm saying.
It's almost like sensitive snowflake texture. You haven't seen my show prep for the 2 hours
Why do
we
you,
have left
why do
in
you
the
say
show.
chubby hands there, JBL?
I am a living radio legend. And we'll talk. What's this say on my show prep, pray tell? It says 10 a.m. Clemson breakdown. It says DJ makes a solid grasp at the starting queue. Is that what we're talking about next? With your permission, Texter, we'll talk Clemson next. Rob Lonzo, you, the Rob Brown Show, the Fan Upstate. I have a hard time turning off my Smart assemer at times.
Is that what that's
That's
called?
what that was.
I personally would like to call that texter Matt. I don't know why. Those texters who get on your nerves, they've got to be called Matt, right? If your name's Matt, you're probably pretty annoying.
Sports. Click on Qualify Me and answer a few questions. This payroll tax refund is only available for a limited period of time.
I think that texter, again, I will call him Matt, legitimately bothers Rob. You're right, Kevin. We will rock you. Mr. Brightside, I still don't get, but you know, I'm older, so I mean, I know the song, but I don't know why it's. I mean, with the content of the song, I don't know why you sing it in a stadium, but.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter.
Now we will see Rob Brown's audio skills. Is he able to get the stuff that he's looking for? Tiptoeing that fence like a ballerina, Joseph.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com.
No, Steven, I might be calling him Matt for a reason. You never know.
When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C. What's up? 3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support, one bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile apps available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, any member of
She needs to staff up before trafficking hits.
Yes, Steven, a male Karen is a Kevin. That is correct. That is correct.
You weren't here for the conversation, so you don't know why that
I
was.
don't, but he's still right. Whatever it was about.
Yes. That's okay though. Did they really? That's cool, Trey.
CBS Sports Radio.
On your radio at 97.7 FM, 1330 AM Greenville, 97.1 FM, 950 AM Spartanburg.
Listen on your phone. Download the Odyssey app and search The Fan Upstate.
There's a whole lot more to know about sound if you really want to go into the subject.
Your smart speaker. Just say,
I'm gonna go straight to that audio.
on your HD radio at WFBC HD3.
You know, you just mumbled. I got it, but you just. I'm gonna try to. What? You gonna do what? What are you gonna do? We don't care how you get there, Josh, as long as you get there.
That's right.
You might even be on Twitch right now, and you could jump on there. We're okay with the Twitch people.
Yeah, I'm live on Twitch too. Like Jeff Saturday, we remain undefeated. Our numero dos of the Rob Brown Show starts right now. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Rob, Lonzo, and you. I'm going straight to it. I went during the break and found I had to. Munich, Germany, Seattle versus Tampa Bay, end of the game, and the German fans decided to lose their minds.
Yes, this is Munich singing John Denver as one. This is awesome. This is literally happening. Listen to this. Oh. And by the way, that's exactly how Tom Brady snaps it. They're still singing. Look at this from Sean White. As the fans are singing John Denver.
Incredible.
Yeah, Rich Eisen.
Well done, Germany.
You know, it's the Sunday morning crew from the NFL Network that was doing the TV broadcast. So all of them were in there. I'm trying to figure out who was singing there. I don't think it was Michael Irvin. I'm gonna go with the quarterback on there. It might have been Mooch though.
Might have been. Well done, Munich, Germany.
Yeah,
that was art, dude.
Yeah, it was loud, and they were in time. Good for them.
That was fantastic. It's as good of a crowd singing John Denver as I've ever heard. It rivaled West Virginia singing Almost Heaven, West Virginia. Which, by the way,
it's not quite as annoying as hearing Rocky Top, but still.
I've been asked if there's any conspiracy theories I do subscribe to, right? And there is one. That song, Lonzo, is not actually about the state of West Virginia. It is about West Virginia. The Blue Ridge Mountains are in Virginia, not West Virginia. There's a few foothills that roll into West Virginia, but the Blue Ridge Mountains are in Virginia. The Shenandoah River is in Virginia, not West Virginia. It doesn't cross into West Virginia, as far as I know. That song is not about the state of West Virginia.
You know, I wish that I cared enough to look, but I don't like the song. So I don't care. So you feel like that?
What do you mean you don't like this song?
John Denver duped everyone, and you're just going to point it out? Some of those German people might be listening right now, and they're really going to care, and they're going to be upset that you ruined it.
No. Listen, I'm a big John Denver guy. There's a few things I carry on from the Pops, and one of them is a love of John Denver. I love singer-songwriters. A love of John Denver remains. Always have. But that song is not about West Virginia. Country Roads is about the western portion of the state of regular old Virginia. And I just need the good folks. I think Virginia's a Commonwealth, isn't it?
This really has nothing to do with West Virginia or Virginia. It has to do with the Mountain Mama. That's what he's singing about. He's going home to the girl. She could have been in South Carolina. She could have been in North Dakota. He's going to the girl. He don't really care about the country roads or the mountains. He's going for the girl.
He is singing about the Old Dominion. He is singing about actual Virginia. The headwaters of the Shenandoah River are in Fort Royal, Virginia. The Shenandoah Valley is near Washington, D.C. It crosses into West Virginia's panhandle for about 17 miles, but the overwhelming amount of the Shenandoah River is in the state of Virginia. He's saying West Virginia because it doesn't sound as good as Almost Heaven, Western Virginia. It's just not the same. So he just went West Virginia. Like we would say West South Carolina. It's in West Greenville, West Spartanburg. Texas says they also sang Sweet Caroline. The commentators also kept mentioning the size of the beers at the stadium. This is definitely an example of cause and effect. Yeah, I will tell you, as a partaker of the liquid courage, I am much more likely to get into a John Denver sing-along after I've put down a couple of red ales.
Can you play any John Denver song?
Sure, I can play that song.
Okay, I figured.
Yeah. I could bring in the guitar and we could do a sing-along tomorrow. I won't because we tied in the Boo Box Bets this week.
Do we? Well, I was going to say, let's not do that because I don't want to. Let's do it next week. You know what? Next week, Monday, me and you will just 3 hours of nothing but John Denver.
I don't know why you're saying that like it's a threat to me. You can roll all the John Denver bumper music you want.
All right, let's think ahead a little here. What's next week?
Thanksgiving? Oh, you're not here. I got it now.
If you have to explain it, it's never as good as just waiting for them to figure it out.
Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Can't wait, man.
Have you ever been to Virginia or West Virginia?
I have. Virginia's beautiful. I've never been to West Virginia.
I got kinfolk in the mountains of West Virginia near the mines.
I'd like to get to Blacksburg and go to a game. I've heard West Virginia's a lot of fun, and if they win, you might get to burn a couch. Which, how bad could that be? You know. Anyway, but I've been to Virginia many times. It's a beautiful state. Beautiful state is Virginia. Beautiful state. That's why I want them to get the credit for John Denver's song. It's about Virginia. The University of Virginia should take that song from West Virginia.
When was that song a hit? Like 1976 or something like that?
That song's a hit every year.
It was last century.
It's a hit always. Remains a hit to this day. By the way, I am at this point just extending the Clemson talk for that one texter now.
I knew it.
Was that obvious?
Yeah,
was it obvious?
I'm down there. It was actually 1971.
There you go.
Okay.
And it still rolls on in the hearts of the people. All right. That song crossed territorial boundaries and became an American legend of music.
If you are a Clemson fan and you don't like being beat by Germany because Germany beat you, you need to
whoa.
Yeah. Germany beat you at singing. So what you need to do is you need to bring this song to the Second Death Valley and you need to sing Country Roads and prove that stadium is as loud as it used to be, because it's not, because it used to be decibel things that they would measure. You don't hear about that anymore. You definitely didn't hear about that with whoever they were playing last week. So yeah, come on.
Marcus said, I mean, it's West Virginia. We should be amazed they can even read enough to find their seats.
Yeah.
Just taking out everybody.
Yeah. Some people say that about places in South Carolina, like Pickens County. So, I mean, you know.
Meg popped in. Meg said Alabama's song Dixieland Delight is about Tennessee. Yeah, I love that too. That's why when Tennessee beat Bama and they immediately dropped Dixieland Delight on the speakers, I was like, oh, that's just A+ trolling right there.
Yeah, I don't believe I've ever heard that song, nor do I want to.
You absolutely have heard
Dixieland Delight. I hope I have not. You'll know me.
You've absolutely heard that song.
I'm not going to look it up to find out if I've heard it or not.
Spend my dollar. Parked in a holler. Oh, come on, Lonzo. You've heard Dixieland Delight.
Dude, I'm serious. Maybe your rendition is horrible, and that's the reason why I don't recognize it.
It's my life. Oh, so right. with my Dixieland delight. Don't worry, it's getting played in the Fortress of Nerditude as soon as this show ends.
I would like to thank the
as
God
the show's
above
over.
that I don't believe I've ever heard that before.
You will not be able to say that after the end of today.
Nope.
After today,
I don't
you
have
will
to
not be
stay
able
in
say
there.
that.
I can walk out.
Oh, it's every time you open the door, that song's playing. It's going to feel like Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Every time you open the door, that song's playing.
You won't be here. All right, Kevin. Everyone keeps asking why I'm so anti-country, because country is it's torture. Should be played in Guantanamo Bay and any other place where prisoners of war are to get them to talk, because, you know, an hour or so of that stuff, you'll be spilling your guts.
Girl, country girl.
You know why I don't like
Give me a
country?
word.
Because country is easy. Anyone could do country. It's not complicated at all. And don't give me that new country. No, it's still country.
There's beauty in simplicity, Lonzo.
Yes.
I'd expect a man who lives in a compound.
I was going to
believe there's
say,
beauty
I look in the
simplicity.
mirror every day and think there's beauty and simplicity. Thank you. But that has nothing to do with how simple that music is. It's horrible.
All right, I have stalled enough. Let's get that texter off of whatever roof he's standing on right now. Clemson gets the 31-16 dub over the Louisville Cardinals, who fall to 6-4, and improves Clemson to 9-1. DJ Uiagalelei, 19 of 27, 185, a touch. He also rushed 15 for 32 and a touch. Phil Maffa, however, carried the load. 10 totes. What? Now you got me in country music mode. Now people are toting the ball. Toting it. Toting the rock.
He fixing to tote it down there to get a touchdown.
Phil Moffitt toted the rock 10 times, $106 on the ground. He scored. Will Shipley, 19 for 97, including the best run in college football so far this year. And there have been some doozies, but Will Shipley puts on the cape, goes hurdling.
It was a good hurdle.
It was a perfect hurdle.
It was a good hurdle,
Perfect.
but hurdling is stupid. And if I was playing today, and some people are starting to do this, when someone hurdles me, I'm just standing up. You are not going to hurdle me.
Did you see the kid in the Michigan game?
I did not.
He decided to try to hurdle, and he gave us all the reason never to hurdle, because the defender, Alonzo, stood up, and the helmet.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You just stand up. They ain't doing that again. If you stand up, you can lose a groin that way for sure. Yes.
The ball carrier nearly lost a groin. That's exactly what happened.
I also would do a sidewalk slam if you're going to do that to me. I'm just, it's not. No.
Took a helmet to the groin. And then, as he was coming back to the turf after taking the top of a dome to the rocks, got German suplexed to finish the tackle. Like, if a WWE tag team used that as a finisher, we deem it unrealistic. It was that insane.
All right, so Shipley's hurdle was good, but I still think hurdles are stupid, and it might have been necessary for him to get in. Yeah, it was pretty and all that. I watched this game this morning, and I was bored out of my mind. This is like I'm waiting for an exciting play. I waited to hear the crowd, and it could be the way it was mic'd, because it was a lesser game, so they probably didn't have the good mics there because Clemson is out of everything. So they send like the J team, which is, below the A, B, C, D, E,
That's
F,
how letters work.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's. I had to explain it because we're in radio. Some people may think that that's actually a term meaning something
it's
else.
a visual medium.
Yes, it is. So the J team's there, so maybe the mics aren't as good. You're getting those mics that don't function as well, and maybe that's why. But I barely heard the crowd. I'm sure a lot of you were there, so you would know if the crowd was actually loud, but they were not. Everybody on Clemson looked bored until a couple plays like that. I will say that Cade boy, he handed the ball off like nobody's business. I don't know why he ain't playing.
One rush, 13 yards for Cade Klubnik.
Yeah,
No passes.
but his handoffs. Now, there's nobody in the National Football League that could hand the ball off like that Cade Klubnik. Daggum.
Cade Klubnik. Cade Klubnik.
Clemson did what they're supposed to do, but the main thing is, you look at this Clemson team and go, there's no way they could hang with the top 3 or 4 teams. So they better hope they don't somehow make their way into the playoff, because that defense is a problem. It is definitely a problem. They have no intensity. They let down on plays. It's you're missing your coach for sure.
The good news is nobody thinks Clemson's going to the playoff, right? Nobody thinks that.
Nah, there's some people. They could be listening right now. There might even be some people on these airwaves who think that.
I will, as I rarely do, even come to the defense of the other folks over there. That even they have said Clemson lost their ticket. It's gone. It's fallen away.
By the way, Jesse, you spelled my name Zoe, but that's fine. Come on, Zoe. That maybe you did it on purpose. That hurdle was incredible. Don't do us that way, bro. A little bias coming from no, it's not a little bias. See, that's where you're wrong.
There's a lot of bias.
I have never come on these airwaves and said that I'm unbiased. I will pick Clemson to win just about every game they're in.
He has.
Because they're good. But right now, they're good. They're not great. They're not on the level where a lot of other people are. And,
I wouldn't say a lot. They're not on the level where 4 other teams are.
Oh, come on. I mean, let's not do this. They're not where they used to be. And it's not just about the quarterback. It's the entire team is not as good as they used to be. The receivers aren't as good. I like Shipley, but he's no Travis Etienne. I mean, there's just
Will Shipley's really good.
but he's
really
not
good.
He's not Etienne.
Really
he's not.
good.
He's not. I would go really good. He's good.
No,
so
he's really good.
All right. Compared to who?
Everybody else.
The rest of the ACC? That's not really saying a whole lot.
Will Shipley's really good. And here's what I will say. Here's what I'll say. I will say that the hurdle is very rarely the right move. But when you hurdle, you're trying to make it look like Will Shipley's. That was art, dude. It was poetry. It was beautiful.
And that's the pinnacle of your season right there, Clemson. Good job.
All right. So
wait. Hope you're happy, Texter.
I'm not done. We're not done with it.
You're not?
No, we're
okay.
not done with
Oh,
it.
cool.
Yeah.
We get more?
I mean, in fairness, the majority of this segment has been you baiting that texter, and I respect it. I do. Look, you got back, as Lonzo has said a number of times, you got back to doing what you were supposed to do. Malik Cunningham, 10 of 13, 75 yards. He got injured, had to leave the game. Brock Dorman came in, 13 of 23, $175 for Dorman. He threw a touch and a pick as well.
Yeah, you beat a guy with one hand. I mean, the starting quarterback had a cast on his other hand, and then you hurt him. And you brought in a guy who's been on 10 different teams. So, I mean, I'm glad you got the win.
Like 10 different teams.
He's transferred all over the place. They were even talking about. I watched the broadcast this morning.
Yeah, I think he's on school number 4.
Yeah, which might as well be 10. So he's been everywhere. That dude, everywhere he looked, that's where he was throwing the ball. If you can't pick that guy off, you got a problem. And he still was able to drive the ball down. It just Clemson looked uninspired Saturday. They looked bored, and that's a problem. And Brent Venables was the intensity of that team. You cannot look at him and not feel intense. Maybe not so in Oklahoma, but here in Clemson, you needed that guy there, and he's just not there.
All right, now my turn. I will give the flowers to Clemson. I think they looked exactly how they should have looked. I don't think they looked inspired. I think they looked determined. I think they looked like they were on a mission. I think they were in a spot that they wanted to come out. They wanted to not just win this game. They wanted to put this game away. They didn't want to have another Syracuse game. They didn't want to have another Notre Dame game. They wanted to come out, establish that they were the better team. They were up 17-7 at halftime. They never let Louisville back into it, right? They scored a TD in the third. They scored a TD in the fourth. They never let Louisville back into the game. That's all you can ask for, I think. Go out there and establish that you are the better team. You are the better team. against at the time 6-3, now 6-4 Cardinal team. You were the better team, and whether or not, listen, Malik Cunningham, who is a good quarterback, left that game because you knocked him out of it. All right, you knocked Malik Cunningham out of that game. You made them go to their backup. They couldn't get the job done. Clemson did, and we can get into the X's and O's and the stat breakdown and all that, and we will. But when it comes down to it, Clemson did what they wanted to do.
Thank goodness I get to interrupt this Clemson stuff. According to several sources, P.J. Walker has a high ankle sprain, so Baker Mayfield will start at quarterback this week.
There you go.
Sam Darnold will be the backup.
There you go. Bummer for PJ. But
where'd that come from? Where'd the ankle sprain come from? Those curbs.
They played on Thursday, y'all. They played on Thursday.
Yeah, those curbs are tough. If you step off a curb wrong, you never know what you could do.
PJ's hitting the calf raises real hard during the Sunday workout. Well, I guess the Views from Main Street podcast being recorded this afternoon just got more interesting, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
We'll talk about that on Views from Main Street.
By the way, I just want to point out that we are not joyful at all, or I'm going to speak for myself.
Yeah,
I was
going to say, did you put that gree on me?
I am not happy that a person injured themselves. I am not. But there are some things that we have wished to see what would happen, and now we're going to get to see them. That's all.
Joe said if Clemson wanted to do that, why did they go to almost exclusively calling run plays as soon as they got up by 14 in the second half?
Yeah, this isn't the Clemson team that was there a couple years ago where they would score as many points as they possibly could. And by the fourth quarter, the starting quarterback was sitting down and everybody was getting to play. This is not that level of football anymore there. And I don't know if it's about talent or coaching or a combination of all that, but they're not where a lot of people are used to them being.
Clemson ran the ball 45 times. They ran the ball 29 times with running backs. DJ took it 15 on his own. I would say so probably 9 of those, maybe 10 of those were DJ extending plays, like they weren't design runs. They were DJ dropping back to pass, and then nothing developed, so he took it himself. So realistically, Joe, I would say they probably ran the ball 35 times and threw the ball 35 times, right? It was pretty much an even split, 50-50. But I think you wanted to come out. I think you wanted to establish that you were the better team. I think you wanted to come out and show that you were the better team, and at the same time understand that you still wanted to prevent yourself from having a Syracuse-esque turnover fest late in the game. Not that you were at any point, but there was no need. There was no need at that point in time to start winging the ball all over the football field, right? Just run it down their throat and make their ass quit. And that's what you did. It was probably the most suit and tie approach to the end of a football game we've seen out of Clemson, and it's exactly what they needed. Let me get Wes in here real quick before we take a break. Wes, welcome back to the show, big dog.
Hey, Rob. Now, you know that I'm one of the biggest Clemson homies around.
Sure.
But I have to agree with Lonzo on this. Unless Clemson beats Miami and South Carolina by 80, don't even bother putting them into the playoffs. It'll be like putting Cincinnati back into it.
With all due respect, Wes, I had no intention of putting Clemson into a playoff spot. They can win the last 3 games of the year by 50. They're not going, right? It's just unfortunate it's that year, but you've got 5 really good teams and then TCU, who might be really good, hanging out up there. Clemson does not compete with Ohio State, Michigan, Tennessee, Georgia, probably not with TCU, probably not with Alabama. The question mark's going to be, can you make sure you go run the table, win that ACC title, Wes, and convince the next recruiting class full of kids that they are the missing puzzle piece to return Clemson to prominence?
Well, you're right. I mean, they're going to have to win the ACC championship, but that's not a lock this year.
Oh, no. Carolina's good. North Carolina, Drake May is going to give Clemson every bit the fit that the kid from Syracuse did. Wes, I appreciate it, man. Good to talk to you, buddy. I got to run to a break. I apologize. We're right up on it. I don't think anybody had planned on putting Clemson in the playoff
Rob,
four.
You said 50.
50.
You said 50.
50.
You said 50.
Tote the ball.
It's getting there. It's
West
getting
Virginia, there. Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads, take me to break. Lonzo, to the break. We gotta go. It's the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Oh, I'm an idiot, and I love it. I have fun being an idiot, you know? I'm going to get the text from the moderator in a minute that's like, do me a favor, don't embarrass the family like that anymore again.
Wednesday, partial sunshine, clouds, near 57. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Buchitsky on the Fan Upstate. Currently, it's 40.
It took a little while for center Bradley Bozeman find his spot in the Panthers starting lineup, but not long at all to become a part of the town's community involvement. I'm Jim Doki with a Panthers update after this.
NFL Plus is here, which means no matter where you are, this is how you football. You can stream live, local, and primetime regular season games on your phone or tablet, 45-minute game replays, and more. This is the NFL for every fan. This is football freedom. This is your game on the go. Wherever you are, this is how you football. Go to plus.nfl.com/radio and start your free trial of NFL Plus today. Terms and conditions apply.
Center Bradley Bozeman started every game over the previous 3 seasons with the Panthers' next opponent, the Baltimore Ravens. He arrived in Baltimore as a 6th-round draft pick out of Alabama in 2018, where he was part of the national championship team. But after signing this offseason with Carolina, he struggled with an injury in the preseason and found himself backing up Pat Elflein. But then Elflein would go on season-ending injury with a hip injury, and Bozeman has been an anchor the past 4 games after patiently waiting his turn.
It reminded me a lot of college, not having that opportunity to really showcase what I could do on the field. You just kind of wait your turn and just wait until the opportunity opens up, presents itself. And, I think I've taken full advantage of that opportunity. It was tough sitting there behind that, but it's part of the business. So you just gotta take them in strides and just continue to work and do the things you need to.
In Baltimore, Bozeman was the Ravens' Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. And he and his wife hit the ground running with their Bozeman Foundation once they arrived in Charlotte, including their recent Halloween fundraiser.
Nick and I have been doing this since we're in college, probably 2016, 2017. Just went out to schools, we started off in anti-bullying and kind of progressed our way to where we are now. Recruiting security, and it's just been such an amazing journey. Just love to use our platform any way we can.
I'm Jim Doki on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network.
How's their pain, Jesse? You lost 1 game.
Some teams won't under the big lights. Monday night, the Washington Commanders face the surging Philadelphia Eagles, and Washington is just 10 Monday night football games and just 32 and 46 overall in this primetime slot. That's a 41% winning percentage overall, and they're actually playing worse as of late. If you believe the team wilts under the spotlight, you've got to fade Washington in this spot. I'm Tristan Crick, helping you.
This is Staples. So rumor has it that Staples has everything I need to ship.
We have all the shipping supplies and services you need.
Boxes?
Yep.
Mailers?
Yeah, and we have UPS here in store.
What will Staples think of next?
Right.
No, seriously, I'm asking, what will they think of next?
So tomorrow I get to work 11 hours. So excited.
You got to do.
Because Tim requested it all.
I gotcha.
With all the work that he's getting ready to do, I can't say no.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's Cameron's birthday. So,
That's a bummer.
well, where he wants to eat, it's like, dude, you just have to wait till 7 because it's across the street. So.
Or maybe your home will sell too quickly, or maybe you won't find the home that you are looking for at a fair price because today's market moves fast. Here's the reality. Alan Tate.
Listen to this. I got home last night from the hockey game. We were going to go see Black Panther. Courtney didn't feel good, so she's watching a movie. And I walk in like halfway through the movie, and the scenes that are on is a woman going through. She's in court being tried for a murder charge. So the movie is based on a book that Courtney really liked. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I've been gone all day. I'm going to sit down and watch the end of this movie. So I go to the Wikipedia page for the movie and I read the plot up to where she is in the movie so that I kind of know what's going on and I can finish the movie with her. We're getting to the end of the movie. There's like 14 minutes left in the movie. And I'm like, I'm into this court case, right? And she turns to me and she goes, they find her innocent, but she did it. And they tell you that at the end. There are 14 more minutes in this movie. She's like, yeah, I didn't think you cared. I'm like, I've been sitting here for 40 minutes watching this movie with you. She's like, right, but you were on your phone. I was like, I was reading the plot of the movie to know what the characters were and what the setup of the scenario was. She's like, oh, well, you know, now you know. I'm like, yes, now. So I literally just got up for the last 10 minutes of the movie. I'm like, call me when it's over. I'll come spend quality time with you after you're done being the spoiler.
Didn't realize Lifetime was on your radar.
It was, I don't even want to say what the movie is in case there's some folks in here that, well, I don't think many people are going to be watching it in this group. Not the right target demo. It was where the crawfish, where the crawdads sing, where the crawfish sing. Very popular book. And apparently, and this is the great part about it. So the premise is there's a girl who grew up without a family out in the swamp, and a dude tries to sexually assault her, and then later that dude turns up dead. So they think it's her. They try her for murder. Her lawyer gets her off the hook. Then her and her new boo live out their lives. She dies. He goes through her stuff, and he finds written in a book that she did it, right? And so he just burns all the evidence so that she can, you know, so they don't go back and let her secret out. So I'm like, I'm watching this movie. And then she tells me after it's over, which was 14 minutes before it was over, thanks to her. I go back out and she's like, yeah, the author of this book is being tried for murder of her ex-husband while she wrote this book about a woman who murders the guy who tried to assault her and gets off the hook for it. This woman's being investigated for murder. Amazing. Which I guess is a hell of a PR move, right? Hell of a PR move. Maverick, if you want to really upset the wife, with 14 minutes left in the movie, tell her that the girl actually did it, and you don't find out till the end. Yes. I you know what? I might, because it's going to be a turnover audience, I might put my own girlfriend on Faces and Heels tomorrow. She might make a Faces and Heels story.
We know whose side I'm on.
Courtney's, because you think it's hilarious. I told this story on the stream. It's a short segment here because I came way off the clock in that last segment. So yesterday, I go do, and I was going to put this on Faces and Heels, but I'm going to put it on right now because the lady friend's not listening right now, at least not that I'm aware of.
Every time you say that, she's listening. Haven't you noticed that?
So yesterday was a Swamp Rabbits game. You guys know I'm the in-arena host for the Greenville Swamp Rabbits, the hockey team. Come out and see us. It's a blast. So I do the game, which obviously required me to, the first half of the day, we were, watching football. Then I leave the house at like 1 o'clock, 1:30 to go to the Rabbits game. I come home and the lady friend is watching a movie, right? We were going to go see Black Panther. She didn't feel good. So we're like, let's just go tomorrow. We'll watch this movie tonight. She's watching a movie. She's like, I don't know. There's 30, 45 minutes left in the movie. And the movie, as far as I could tell, was like a court thriller, right? A whodunit, I believe is what they call it. So I sit down. She's like, there's like 40 minutes left in this movie. Let me finish this. And then we'll watch the end of the Dallas Green Bay game and the Sunday night game before bed. I'm like, all right, fine. So I'm like, you know what? I've been away from the girlfriend all day. Let me get some QT in with the lady friend. So I go to Wikipedia and I find this movie and I read the plot of the movie up to where she is in the movie, right? So I know the characters. I know what's going on. I kind of got the backstory. And I'm like, all right, now it's courtroom thriller. I'm in for a little whodunit. So I'm watching this movie. There's like 12 minutes, 13 minutes left in the movie. There's a girl being tried for murder. The murder of a man who had earlier in the movie tried to sexually assault her, right? So she's on trial for the murder of this guy. And I'm watching it and I'm like, this is really interesting, right? Like, it's an interesting court case. Way the defense attorney is presenting his evidence is really interesting. I'm enjoying this. So I'm like, I'm digging the movie. And with like 13 minutes left in the movie, she turns to me and she goes, she killed him, but she gets off of it. And you find out at the end that she did it. What the hell? There's 12 minutes left in the movie. The movie's effectively over. We're going to have found that out before you finish that sentence. Why would you spoil this for me?
Well,
it's like, I didn't think you were paying attention. You were looking at your phone. Because I was reading the plot of the movie so I could finish it. The hell, man?
You spoiled a bunch of people on the stream.
We're not the target demo for this movie. Okay?
But their wives or girlfriends might be.
Maybe. Here, let me give you a free piece of advice from Rob Brown, the Doctor of Love. If you're watching this movie with your significant other and you know the ending, which my lady friend did, don't tell the twist ending 12 minutes before the movie's over. Just let them finish the movie, right? Could you imagine if you had sat down and, like, obviously, is the most famous twist in movie history, Lonzo, The Sixth Sense? It is, right?
I've never seen it, so didn't interest me.
Nothing interests you when other people like it.
That's not true.
That's
I've
true.
seen Star Wars. I've seen every Marvel movie. I mean, you know.
So I think, and spoiler alert for Lonzo,
Haley Joel Osment is creepy. So I didn't go see that movie.
the whole point of the movie is creepy. So I feel like that movie, that movie's
All right,
been out,
Rob,
what?
there was a time in my life when I didn't have money to go to the movies, and that's one of those times when that came out.
Was that time 1999?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it was.
Okay, fair enough. The Sixth Sense came out in 1999. That movie is 23 years old now.
Here's
24
the
was
thing:
it?
when
Years
you,
old
when you
now?
don't have friends and you have small children, you can't go watch a lot of things. You just can't.
The Sixth Sense is, I think, the definition of the big twist in a movie, right? Turns out Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. And he could see the dead people, or the kid could see Bruce Willis when nobody else could, right? There's a scene in the beginning where Bruce is talking to his wife and he thinks she's giving him the silent treatment because she's mad at him. Turns out he's dead, right? And the whole twist of the movie is I can see dead people. And you find out Bruce Willis is dead. It's the biggest twist in the movie. Do you imagine if you sat down to watch that movie for the first time, as I'm doing Alonzo right now? But again, he's had a 24-year window.
I know the entire plot. I've heard it enough. By the time I could go see it, I already knew all about it. So what's the point of watching it if you know everything about it?
Get it now. This movie is like a month and a half old, right? Available on streaming. Maybe
but
don't hit me.
That book has been out for a while, though.
Yeah, and obviously I'm never going to have read the book.
When you said the title, I recognized it because I knew the book was pretty popular.
I'm just saying she's a heel move, all right? She's a heel move. That's a heel move. Why would you spoil the ending for me while I'm actively watching it? That's a heel move.
You know, Rob, take the L and don't look for vengeance. Just come back and go, you know what? She didn't mean to do that, and just let it go.
Can't do it. Can't do it. That's how grudges are born.
You know, I believe recently you've had conversations about how competitive you are with this person and been
Pretty
given,
sure. Do I spoil Black Panther for her tonight?
been given advice as to stop doing that. And, you know, but by people smarter than me and, you know, probably wiser. But yeah, you should just let it go.
Texter says, Rob, I was in Gainesville for that Carolina game. That was bleeping pathetic. Absolute embarrassment. Had a great time downtown, though. Convinced several Gators to buy me drinks. Well, probably because they were sad for you. Probably because they knew that your team made you sad. They're like, we got to help this poor guy out. This guy came all the way down here to watch his football team do that. Somebody get that guy a whiskey. He needs it. Texter says, Rob, my hate for the Gamecocks is tenfold that of Zoe for Clemson. Last time I was in Columbia, I took a boat in their parking lot. Wow.
All All right. Last time I checked, that's illegal. I don't know what the statute of limitations are on such a thing, but that's against the law.
Texter, I'm going to say, go ahead and start texting now that this was 25 years ago. Just be real safe.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
In 1984.
Yeah, I
took a boat in their parking lot.
I'm guessing, said the last time.
Absolutely, that's a dude. Absolutely, that's a dude.
So you're saying that women can't be as passionate or as stupid as this person?
Passionate? Absolutely can be. Taking a boat in the bad guy's parking lot as a sign of the rivalry? Listen, you find me a woman.
I hate them more than you do. I took a dump in the parking lot. See? I proved it. See?
You find me a woman who has, I will take a boat in your parking lot. I hate you so much passion in college football, and I will show you a unicorn. That's a keeper.
Dude, they're out there for sure. If you do something like that, that's just dumb. What did you prove? I hope you had toilet paper, because I guess you didn't. You probably pulled your paints up and was stanky the whole way home.
Texter said, hey, Lorenzo, I love the way Clemson lives rent-free in your head.
Do they? See, here's the thing. That guy's mad. You're probably mad. I'm laughing the whole time. I'm going to go in the office and not think about Clemson again, whereas you guys will be mad about me the rest of the day.
Texter said, the toothbrush was invented in West Virginia. If it was invented anywhere else, it'd be called a teeth brush. That's a classic, right?
I don't know.
You just knock the dust off of that whenever you want to.
I think certain classics should be retired.
Nah.
Yeah, I think that's one of those.
Nah. That is the almost heaven West Virginia of college football jokes is what that is. Texter says, Lorenzo probably prefers bro country over authentic country from the heart.
I don't even know what bro country is. And no, all country should burn in fire.
Wow.
Not the artist, but just the music itself. If there was a, burn your disco night, which we know there was back in the day, there should be a burn your country night.
Texter said, Germany is more country than most South Carolina. I don't know, man. I will tell you this. That was incredible. Texter said, the Gator fans didn't have to be sad for me. I was sad for myself. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. The lady friend, so the lady friend, like for a while, she'd been like, hey, can we go to Columbia, right? Because we planned on going to a night game this year. We wanted to go to a night game to see the lights. And it just didn't work out, right? We had other stuff going on, a handful of night games. And she's like, can we go this Saturday for the Tennessee game? And I don't tell her no, right? Like if she does so much for me, she goes to all the sports things I want to go to. So I don't tell her no when she eventually goes like, can we do this? She's like, can we go to Tennessee for the night game? I was like, nah. She said, why? I was like, because I do not want to deal with the car ride home after they beat you by 50, because they're going to beat you by 50. It's not going to be good. Texter said that Texter was probably at the boat game in the Toilet Bowl Stadium because the boater was full. I don't know, man. I don't think that you unload in a rival's parking lot because they didn't provide adequate facilities. You unload in the rival's parking lot because you're trying to send a message.
Or because you're drunk and someone dared you to.
Listen, I've been drunk a lot. Never once have I been like, yeah, right here sounds good.
Has anyone dared you to, though, while you're drunk?
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I mean,
Texter said, pretend to spoil the ending of the next movie you watch, but tell her the wrong ending. That's not bad. Hey, Tony Stark is the new Black Panther. Enjoy the movie.
Well, you haven't seen it, so how do you know that's not true?
Fair enough. Maybe it is.
Ooh, I think that he was trying to sound like me. That's always awesome.
Maybe it is. All right, let's take a break. Come back. Wrap up this boat show of an hour. This ought to be good. Meg said, but y'all can go watch a great team. Just go for the light show and don't have any expectations. Yeah, we're going to see the light show to start the game and not again after it. That's the problem.
they don't play it coming out at halftime? Or
I don't know.
I mean,
Would they?
I would guess they would.
They're going to be down
you know,
40 at halftime.
yeah. Well, maybe for every kickoff return they play it.
And when I said they're going to be down by 40 at halftime, and some of you guys got mad at me, I will make a hamburger bet right now. I will give any Gamecock, one of you, I will get, not all of you, although I might as well because I'm going to win it. I will give the first one who wants it. The first one who wants it. I will give you South Carolina and 21 points at halftime. Anybody want it? South Carolina at 21 points at halftime. If I win, I buy you a burger at Warehouse at Midtown. If you win, I'll buy you a burger at Warehouse at Midtown. South Carolina minus 21 at the half. Does anybody want it? So you want that?
Way to work in the sponsor.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're a pro.
Almost like it.
No, I don't want none of that.
I didn't think so. South Carolina, I'm not excited for you Saturday. Let's take a break, come back up, wrap up hour number 2. Hour number 3, you know, we're NFL guys. Got to get into the league in hour number 3. Plus, we are 6 days away from the beginning of the World Cup. What are we expecting out of the Americans in this one? We'll talk about that and a whole lot more on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Yeah, I figured they did the lights during Sandstorm. Like, I'd assume, that's what I'm saying. Like, I assume we would see the lights at the beginning of the game, like at the intro to the game. I don't think South Carolina is going to give a heck of a lot of reasons. Here's my question. Sincerely, I'm going to make you the game ops manager in Columbia here, Lonzo. End of that game, the score is 45-0 Tennessee, and South Carolina scores a touchdown against Tennessee's backups. Are you burning the lights? Are you turning on the lights down 38? Or do you just go, Dad, we're good?
Did you buy the lights or are the lights sponsored?
I don't know. The electricity bill's got to be ridiculous.
If the lights are sponsored, you're playing the lights wherever you can. Now I'm running the lights during the middle of a Tennessee play, which I guess is you're not allowed to do, but oops. There you go, Chad.
Once they explained it, it made sense. Putting what we have inside our body back into us in a certain strategic way to heal up in a natural process is fantastic. QC Kinetics treatments take place right in the office.
Stop sending me country stuff on Twitter.
West Virginia, mountain mama, take me home, country roads. My mother also loves your shirt, by the way. I think we all need that shirt.
It's one of the more accurate shirts that I've found. Yeah. So
it's pretty good.
This feature is sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. This fall, there are updated COVID-19 booster shots designed to help protect against recent Omicron variants. If it's been at least 2 months since your primary series or booster, schedule your updated COVID-19 booster dose at vaccines.gov. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech. Kansas City State Government.
Kevin, I don't know that I have a favorite music. I just have a most hated music. I like pretty much everything else. And I recognize, you know what? I even like bluegrass. And you can say bluegrass and country are the same, but they're not. Because I respect the musicians in bluegrass. If you've ever had to mic a bluegrass band, which I had to do one time, it is interesting. You try micing a dobro when it's an acoustic dobro. Or are most dobros acoustic? I don't know. And then there's another thing you can think about it this way. What is the one style of music if you diss it, people really get offended more than any other kind of music. If you say,
There's not one.
if you say I don't like rap, well, it's like you just don't get it, But if you say you don't like country, people get mad.
I don't think there's any one more than the other, right? I think the first off, you're only going to hear the loudest fans, and the loudest fans are the most passionate fans of every type of music, right?
True.
I don't think there's one group of fans that is more disappointed when someone says they don't like their music than anybody else.
Well, no,
now there are some musics that have larger fan bases than others, right? Like metalheads. When you're like metal, I don't get metal. It doesn't sound like music. It's just noise. Metalheads get really angry, but only like 1 out of every 100 people is a metalhead. So you're not going to hear that many of them.
I don't know if they get as angry as country fans. Country fans just, it's more of a, how could you not like our music? Metalheads hate you anyway, whether you like it or not.
Metalheads are the nicest group of people in the world. They are the nicest. They put off the angry visage, but they're the nicest people in the world.
You've been fooled by Lamb of God. That's
not.
all. You've been fooled.
Yeah, dude, I was at that show, and the people around me were the
See?
nicest of any concert.
He's been fooled by Lamb of God.
Every country music show, never seen one at a metal.
Exactly.
Wrapping up this episode of the Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Talked a lot of Clemson Tiger football in this hour of the show. So Clemson fans, give me your evaluation of the team as it stands after a 31-16 win over Louisville. That is exactly the game that you needed. Exactly the game that you needed. You went out there after the loss to Notre Dame, after the scare against the Cuse. You went out there, you were the better team, you put it down on paper, you won the game going away, and now you're lined up to take on a bad Miami Hurricane team and a bad South Carolina Gamecocks team. Clemson's going to wrap up the year at 11-1 and take on the next opponent that matters, North Carolina. Again, I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I genuinely hope that whatever it was, whatever mojo went away for the Gamecocks after the run against Kentucky, who lost to Vandy, and A&M, who lost to everybody else, right? It's an unfortunate reality. It's a tough pill to swallow with the realization, though, that the two marquee wins on the year, right? Kentucky and A&M. The two marquee wins, both, by the way, against backup quarterbacks. The two marquee wins for South Carolina, both of those teams that they got those dubs over, ain't that good. They're just not that good. Kentucky's not that good. Texas A&M is terrible.
Yeah, but if you're South Carolina and you're in a bowl game, you don't go, you know what, we don't deserve to be here because a couple of the teams we beat are not very good. I'm sorry. Never mind. We're just going home.
I don't think that's what it's about, right? Like, good on you for getting to 6-6. We thought 6-6 was a mark that would show that you won a couple of games that maybe you weren't expected to win, right? Maybe you won a couple that you weren't supposed to win. But here's the thing. Kentucky and A&M ain't that good, right? Even with Will Levis, Kentucky's not that good. We just saw that. They lost to Vanderbilt. That is a 24-game SEC losing streak snapped for the doors. They're not that good. And A&M is an embarrassment right now. An absolute embarrassment right now. What game, sincere question, and I'll get your answers to this before we get to the next break. What game out of the 6 South Carolina has won to get bowl eligible, what game weren't they supposed to win? Right? If we knew then what we know now, it wasn't Kentucky and A&M. Those teams are terrible. You lost to Mizzou, the game you should have won. Right? You get the hell beat out of you by Florida. It doesn't look as good as we thought it did 3 weeks ago. Back after this for the third hour of the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Have you seen Tyson Fury's brother, John?
I don't believe that I have.
It looks like Butterbean Jr.
Oh, is that who that is?
That guy.
Yeah, I have
Tyson
seen
Fury's
it.
brother.
I didn't realize
Now
that.
all I want is Tyson and John versus Jake and Logan. I would watch that. For the record, if you did a tag team boxing.
Oh, it's probably out there.
Tag team boxing.
I've seen like team MMA going against
I've
each
seen that.
other.
It's like
So,
7.
yeah.
Give me tag team boxing, the Furies versus the Pauls. That'd be the first time the Pauls get $1 out of me. I'd watch that 100%. Because what? Tyson has an advantage over Logan by miles, right? But Jake has an advantage over not Tyson. It's even. I like it.
Against the Ravens. Baseball, Miami Marlins promoted Caroline O'Connor to president of business operations. It makes them the first U.S. major sports franchise to have women serving simultaneously as president and general manager. I'm Greg Kazoo.
We're CBS Sports Radio, and our Twitter handle is @CBS Sports Radio.
CBS Sports Radio. Let's face it, credit cards are pretty much a necessity.
You tires for the car? Here's my card.
I order takeout. Here's my card. And most of us just accept the high interest rates credit cards charge as a necessary evil.
What are you going to do?
Get a low fixed rate credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream from $5,000 to $100,000.
Probably Kevin if he stays healthy.
Apply online and you can get your money as soon as the day you apply. The average credit card company charges over 19% APR. But with Lightstream, you can get a fixed rate as low as 6.99% APR with auto pay and excellent credit.
Now I can pay off my high-interest credit cards and save money at a much lower rate.
Apply today at lightstream.com/radio and get an additional interest rate discount. That's lightstream.com.
I found another Scam Baiter YouTube channel. They're amazing. Amazing.
If you own a business, this has been a bumpy ride. From pandemic to inflation, I'm sure you could use a break.
Dude, I'm telling you, Kevin, I've been to 100 metal shows. They are the nicest fans of people. They look scary as hell, but they are the nicest people.
By the way, the angriest people in this building are all metalheads. I can name 3 right now, one of which is on this station. And oh, dude, he's angry. He's absolutely angry.
But we can all be angry.
Yeah.
Not me. I'm not angry.
I don't blame him for the most part, but still, I mean, he's just. I think metalheads are looking for a reason to go off on you. They're like this close if you say the wrong thing.
Metalheads are not. I've been around. I promise you, I've been around them more than both of y'all have. I promise you, they're not.
He can't say that with a certainty.
I can say that with 90% confidence. I can say for
Well,
sure.
you would be wrong
metalheads than
because
you.
let me tell you, I am 54 years old, Rob.
Yeah.
And you've never been in my neighborhood.
Right. The
You
story.
never lived where I live. You don't know my relatives.
Metalheads are punks because they're different groups of people.
Yes, I'm well aware of that.
Different
And there are also stoners who are more into classic rock.
Yeah, but stoners are awesome. Stoners are awesome. They're fun.
Yeah, Kevin, you can't be in a mosh pit and not be angry. You just can't. You also can't be in a mosh pit if you're fat because they won't let you in there.
Yes, they will.
No, they won't. They will not.
I have watched them make mosh pits around people in wheelchairs before. They are the most welcoming group of people.
Shh.
Rob's
here.
Show.
Rob's here. Everybody be nice.
I went to a metal show dressed as a secret cowboy to see what the reaction would be.
Yeah, they looked at you and
welcomed.
they looked at you and
welcomed.
they thought you were Ted Nugent. That's why. So you're fine.
Ted Nugent's not metal. Ted Nugent was
Doesn't matter.
metal.
Anybody with a hat at a rock concert is Ted Nugent. Harley in the first break.
Okay.
I've seen mosh pits at Christian concerts. I don't understand that. But they all look angry too. And no, I could not be in a mosh pit even now because I would hurt someone. Because once all the shoving starts and the adrenaline starts pumping up, I'm looking, okay, if I shoulder into that dude, he's going down. Let's see if I can do that.
The point of a pit is to not go in looking to take down somebody. It is just to release stress by banging around.
You know how I release stress?
Dude out.
You don't have to run to knock a dude out. Shoulder shrug, man. Boom. Down they go.
Then you don't know what it's like. If you go into a pit aiming for dudes, you're going to get kicked out of the pit. If you go in and just start jumping around, you are welcomed in the pit.
Good. I get kicked out of the pit. Yeah.
Kevin said Rob's going to be in a chokehold when his lady friend finds out he snitched on her. I said what I said. All right. I said what I said. I told her last night to her face that was a heel move.
She's more of she'll put him in a Kimura till he cries.
She won't.
Or passes out.
She knows you don't get to Rob Brown in a fight. She's more the psychological terror in the best possible way. Man, I make her sound awful. She's an amazing woman, and I love her dearly. But it was a heel move.
She's a deep thinker.
It was a heel move.
And
she's like Lonzo. That's why they get along so well.
Yeah, she's someone who will she'll get revenge eventually.
Correct.
Patience it's not something you can teach.
Correct. All right, let's get a couple more things in here. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now that Buffalo v. Minnesota was an incredible game. Best game of the year so far.
Doesn't that sound weird saying that? Knowing who the quarterback is for Minnesota, that was such Kirk Cousins.
You like that?
He did yesterday.
That was an unbelievable.
I'm disappointed we didn't get to see him in the chains again on the plane.
I know.
Because that dude was rocking those chains.
I wanted him coming out of the locker room topless again. You like that? 33-30 your final. Josh Allen now leads the league in INTs after throwing a couple. But
don't you have to take a couple of Josh Allens off because after a loss?
Josh Allen now?
Yeah, just two.
Two Josh Allens now.
29
of 43, 330, a touch and 2 picks in that one. Kirk Cousins 30 of 50, 357, a touch and 2 picks. It wasn't a game that was won by the quarterback duel. Buffalo had more yards rushing, and Minnesota beat them through the air. The game was won because Justin Jefferson had 193 yards and a touch on 10 receptions, averaged 19.3 yards per grab in the OT contest, including the dopest catch you are going to see this year. It was the one-handed snag to continue the drive for Minnesota that would lead to a dub was as sick of a catch as you will see in the National Football League. There was also the muffed snap with Buffalo inside their own one coming out and the blown snap onto the ground for Josh Allen, redacted. Didn't cost him the game, but didn't win it for him either. 2 turnovers, both given away by the Buffalo Bills. 2 turnovers for the Minnesota Vikings, but they got them both back. So Buffalo was -2 in turnovers, -3 in points. That's the ball game, kids. Dallas, Green Bay. Like, I get that Green Bay is a gnarly place in November to play a football game, but Mike, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing? You know, it's one of those plays that if it works, you're a genius, and if it doesn't, you are the scapegoat. But in that situation in overtime, with Green Bay's defense having slowed down Dak to some degree late in that game, how do you go for it in that spot, right? The Dallas Cowboys racked up 28 in the first 3 quarters, could not sniff the end zone in the fourth. Green Bay scores 14 unanswered in the fourth quarter to tie the football game. All of the momentum is in the Green Bay defense. Mike McCarthy decides, their defense is killing us. We haven't sniffed the red zone. Let's go for it on 4th down and field goal range. Granted, long field goal. But why not try the field goal, right? Because if you don't get it, they're getting it on the same spot on the field. Why not kick the field goal and at least give yourself a chance? You know what I genuinely believe is the worst trait to have in high-level football coaching? It's a thing I call smartest guy in the room syndrome, right? It's when you just cannot accept the fact that maybe you're wrong sometimes. Right? Mike McCarthy put smartest guy in the room syndrome into action last night. Like, everybody's like, kick the field goal, Mike. Kick the field goal. At least give your defense a chance. Like, trust your defense, trust your kicker, trust your defense. Give yourself a chance. He absolutely illustrated an incredible case of smartest man in the room syndrome.
See, but he was brought to Dallas to make these kind of decisions, to go for on that sort of thing, because that's a Dallas Cowboy kind of thing to do, wasn't it? I mean, if you use some of the Jason Garrett wouldn't have went for it. I mean, think of the last couple coaches for the Dallas Cowboys. They don't do things the way the Cowboys do things. This was a Cowboy thing to do. It missed, but if it was successful, everyone would be praising this guy today. Wow, what a move. Can't believe he did that. He went for everything and they won the game. Way to go. Sometimes you go for it and you miss, and he did. But this is a Cowboy thing. This is how I bet Jerry Jones is not mad about this.
I got to think he is, right?
No, because that's the way a Cowboy would do that.
Nothing matters to JJ like breaking the Super Bowl-ish streak of 30-ish years. Nothing, right? You right now have the best Dallas Cowboy team that you have had in many years, right? Like, I don't even know. In many years. However, at now 6-3, you are 3rd place in the NFC East. The unlucky break for the Dallas Cowboys is that the year they finally picked to actually be consistently good and even win some games with a backup quarterback, the NFC East is the best division in football. Mike McCarthy's smartest man in the room syndrome just costs them the opportunity to be in 2nd place in a very good NFC East, right? This is a Cowboys team that has already defeated the New York Giants. They have already defeated the Washington Commanders. Bum. One of the 3 L's was to Philly, but Philly is undefeated. That's a good Philly team going up against Washington tonight. It's unlucky for the Cowboys that the year that you're actually good, even with that L, the Cowboys would lead the NFC West. They'd be in 2nd in the North. They would be clear in the South by a couple of games. They would be 2nd in the AFC East, 2nd in the AFC West, tied for the lead in the AFC North, and tied for the lead in the AFC South. They just happen to be in the best division in football this year. And they could be 2nd, but Mike McCarthy decided he just knows better than everybody else last night and went for it on 4th down, and they didn't get it. Now, if he converts that, we're all talking about the rocks on Mike McCarthy, right? But that's the point of taking a shot. If you go down to the old Piggly Wiggly and pick up $1,000 in Powerball tickets and you win the Powerball, nobody's going to go, what a stupid decision to spend $1,000 on Powerball tickets. But if you don't hit it, you're like, why the hell did you spend $1,000 on Powerball tickets? That was a terrible move, right? What a terrible move. I got vibes off Mike McCarthy last night that leads me to believe that the Cowboys will, if they get into the playoffs, are obviously going in as a wild card, but they might screw themselves out of another couple of games. They might screw themselves out of another couple of games because Mike has a look at the big brain on Mike. Screw himself out again. But we'll see. The biggest character trait in high-level coaching is smartest man in the room syndrome, right? Tell you another coach that I think has a big-time case of smartest man in the room syndrome, Dabo, with all due respect to a great college football coach. He wouldn't have won a couple of titles and played for a few more if he wasn't one of the smartest guys in the room. But rolling the same offense out every week, only hiring within the program a couple of coordinators who, in my opinion, very clearly were not ready to take over the coordinator positions at Clemson, refusing to dive into the transfer portal with a couple of rare exceptions. Dabo strikes me as having a pretty big case of smartest guy in the room syndrome. And having smartest guy in the room syndrome will get you beat. It almost got you beat against the Cuse. It got you beat against Notre Dame. And there's a learning curve to it, right? Which is why I wonder if the offensive coordinator for the Clemson Tigers next year isn't Jeff Scott, former RC turned USF head coach and massive failure. A guy who very clearly is just one step above his capabilities, competency level, right? But he is a Clemson dude. He's inside the house. Although he's coming back into the house, he's inside the house guy, which is what Dabo likes. I don't know. I feel like that's an interesting play. Texter on the Preferred Home Services text line 71307 said Dak Prescott is a bum. If the Cowboys had an accurate passer playing yesterday, they would have won. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and argue that Dak Prescott is somehow, some way a Pro Bowler, right? 27 of 46, 265, 3 touchdowns, 2 picks. Wasn't a great day, wasn't a bad day. By the way, Lil Wayne tweeted out, why didn't we get rid of Aaron Rodgers when we had the chance? And then A-Rod came out, went 14 of 20, 224, 3 touchdowns yesterday. Polar opposite of the Detroit game.
Has there been a retraction from Lil Wayne?
Yep.
Because we're all waiting for that.
Yep. He said, why the bleep was I playing? He absolutely called himself out. I can't stand Lil Wayne because I think he's a turncoat, but at least he called himself out on it. At least he owned that take. Lil Wayne, I don't like him, but at least he's got more character than the majority of dudes in this industry who say wrong things all the time and then don't own them. Good on Wayne for that, I guess. Anyway, let's take a look around the rest of the league, shall we? Aaron Rodgers. Got me. Buccaneers 21-16 winners over Seattle. Certainly not to say the Bucs are back, but they are trending in the right direction. Brady goes 22 of 29, 258, 2 touches and a pick, and a 111 overall rating. That's not bad. How about the Lions sniping the Bears yesterday? Justin Fields had another day, including another exceptional TD run. How about JF? Lonzo, 167, 2 touches through the air, 13 carries, 147 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns, including a 67-yard TD run where he put the entire Lions defense on skates, and it still wasn't good enough to win the game.
I'll say that's all amazing, but you still lost to Detroit. You still lost to Detroit.
By the way, Detroit has now beat Green Bay and Chicago back-to-back.
Good for them.
Yeah. I don't hate Dan Campbell. His defense is trash, but they're getting better. I don't hate Dan Campbell. That's a big win for Detroit over Chicago. I do feel bad for Justin Fields. You should not. And adding Claypool and still can't get the dub? That's rough, dude. Derrick Henry and his Titans knock off Denver 17-10.
That's right.
Broncos country. 21 of 42, 286, a touch and a pick for Russell. Ryan Tannehill, 19 of 36, 255, and a pair of touches. Outduels Russell Wilson.
Not surprising for me, but for a lot of other people, it is.
Russ is bad, dude. Russ is bad. It just is. Like, I think we've got to own it at this point. And by we, I mean I. I said, and here it is. This is Rob owning his wrong thing. I said when Russ got to Denver, I'm like, that's an AFC dark horse. Look out, Kansas City. Denver might be for real. 3-6, 1-4 on the road. Oops. The opposite of nailed that one. The Jaguars get the kicker recovered onside kick on the road at Kansas City. It was Jags minus 9.5. I took Jacksonville. Missed it by the hook. Missed it by half a point. Kansas City 27-17 winners over Jacksonville. Patty Mahomes adds another 331 through the air and 4 touchdowns. 1 pick to go with it. Trevor didn't have a bad day. 29 of 42, 59, 2 touchdowns. Travis Etienne slowed down just a touch, 11 carries for 45, only 75 rushing yards for Jayville. The Chiefs ran for $155, including Isaiah Pacheco going 16 carries for 82 yards. Just like Lonzo projected, a big day for Isaiah Pacheco.
So yeah, Pacheco he runs violently. If you haven't watched him run the ball, he's trying to hurt somebody when he's running the ball, and I'm surprised he hasn't hurt himself yet.
Mahomes had 39 yards on the ground,
but you know what Pacheco's done? He's put Clyde Edwards-Helaire on the bench.
I think so.
Yeah.
After that, Tua Tagovailoa puts up 285 and 3 touchdowns en route to the Dolphins. 39-17 boot down of the Cleveland Browns. Jacoby Brissett, 212 and a touch on 22 of 35. But it was on the ground it was on the ground and through the air. Miami won this game. A $119 for Jeff Wilson Jr. Had a touch as well on 17 carries, averaged 7 yards a carry. Raheem Mostert, 8 carries, 65 yards, 8.1 yards a carry. He had a touch as well. 195 on the ground for the Dolphins, 302 receiving.
So does Deshaun do anything when it comes to this team? I know they're going to win when he comes. Are they?
Are they?
When's the last time he played football?
3 more weeks until we see what Deshaun can
do. He's allowed to practice now, I read earlier. So
it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The Browns are 3-6. It doesn't matter. God, I hope they suck.
Why bring him?
I would. Do you bring him back for the season? Why would you? Why risk it, right? Why risk it? You ain't paying him nothing. Let him ride the bench. Browns country. Let's ride the bench. Texans get beat down by the Giants 24-16. Your final in that one. Danny Dimes, $197 and 2 touches on 13 of 17, but the G-men rushed it for $191. Saquon's back, 35 carries for $152 and a touch for Saquon Barkley.
Wait a minute, the Giants are still winning?
7-2, my guy.
Wow.
Kept waiting for the collapse. Kept waiting for the collapse. It hasn't happened yet. They got the Lions, Cowboys, Commanders, and Eagles coming up next. A much better Lions team, not good, but better Lions team. Then a trio of NFC East games back-to-back after that. Then they're on the road at Minnesota. And then the biggest challenge of them all back home for Jeff Saturday and his Colts, who win 25-20 over an embarrassment of Las Vegas Raiders.
All right. Here's the thing. You need to get that thing out your voice, because Saturday is going undefeated. He's going to win the rest of his games. And before it's over, that thing that's in your voice, you're going to have to take it out your voice.
How about the rocks of Jeff Saturday? They're like, hey, Jeff, you're the coach. You know what? Appreciate it, Jim. I'm in. Hey, Matt Ryan, grab the lid. You're back in there. Matty Ice, 21 of 28, 222 and a touch. Also ran 4 times for 38 yards, including Lonzo, 1 run that gave him more rushing yards than the rest of his career combined. Pretty stellar stuff out of Matt Ryan. Dude, I like Frank Reich. He seemed like a good dude. How bad does he look right now? That Jeff Saturday took the 3-5 Colts, knocked off Deratus, and did it with Matt Ryan at the helm.
Yeah, well, let's see him beat a team that's at least
not 2-7,
at least middle of the road,
yeah.
And then but still, it's pretty. It shuts a lot of people up, which I think is hilarious.
Guess who's back? Back again. JT's back. Tell a friend. Jonathan Taylor, 22 carries, $147, and a touch for Indy as they get the dub. Big one for them. Little Sunday afternoon football. The Cardinals knock off the Rams, and it was not Kyler who did it. Ladies and gentlemen, pew pew, Colt McCoy makes his return. 26 of 37, 238, and a touch, 69 on the ground. Nice for James Conner, who punched it in twice. And the Cardinals knock off the defending Super Bowl champions and bring them to a 3-6 record. What the hell happened? Oh, by the way, Cooper Kupp is out for a hot minute with a busted up ankle now. So the Rams are now worse than the team that got them to 3-6.
All I can say is, McVay, don't you be telling me to eat soup. You can't even win. Come on, you can't even beat Arizona.
Worst endorsement of all time. In fairness, Matt Stafford wasn't playing in this game either. John Walford stepped in, 24 of 36, 212, a touch and a pick. The hell, L.A.? Like, you know, it's a like LA sold their soul to the devil for a Super Bowl. Clearly,
is McVay in trouble though? I mean,
I don't think so because he's got a ring on his back right now, like a fresh ring.
They look pretty bad,
but
though.
They look atrocious right now. I don't know how if any, how different is that game if Matt Stafford plays yesterday? I don't think it's that much different, to be honest with you. Right? 24, 36, 212, a touch and a pick. I think it's a pretty Stafford number. That's not a great look, man. Not a great look. And last night, one of our Bootbox Bex picks, Alonzo, it's our first push on the year. San Francisco was a 6-point favorite. They won by 6. 22-16 is your final in that one. Jimmy Garoppolo, 19 of 28, 240. No touches, no picks. Just consistent. Justin Herbert, 21 of 35, $196, a touch and a pick. But San Francisco ran it for $157, and Christian McCaffrey added yet another TD to the roster. 14 carries, 38 yards, one of them a 12-yard touchdown scamper.
Yeah, he wasn't the only one running the ball. Debo was running the ball.
Debo ran hard.
And the other running back.
Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, was running the ball.
For a bunch, too. He had more carries than McCaffrey. 18 carries for Mitchell, 18 for 89. McCaffrey, 14 for 38 and a touch. Debo had 4 for 27 and, frankly, should have had a touch. He got rejected once on what was an otherwise stellar run. Here's a weird question, then we'll take a break. Between Debo and Christian McCaffrey, is San Francisco South Carolina's team, right? Like Jacksonville has kind of been adopted by Clemson with Trevor and Travis there. With Debo and McCaffrey, is everybody who's not a Clemson fan a San Francisco fan rooting for those two guys? Are you rooting for the San Francisco 49ers in order to root for Christian McCaffrey? I kind of am a little bit.
Well, they're not my NFC team, but I root for them anyway because of Debo, because I love seeing what he's been able to do the last couple of years. And Bosa's on that team.
Fair enough. All right, let's take a break. When we come back here in just a minute, let's take a look at our AP Top 25 after the weekend. Big weekend. Let's take a look at the AP poll and start to get a gauge on what tomorrow night's playoff rankings are going to look like. Rob Lonzo, the Rob Brown Show's on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. All right, be right back. Kids got to do a read, and then we shall return.
even those in early stages.
This was seen in a clinical study with patients 50 and older. Any positive result should be followed by a diagnostic colonoscopy. False positive and negative results may occur. Cologuard is not a replacement for colonoscopy in high-risk patients. Do not use if you have had adenomas.
James, you're right. Trevor is getting better. He's got a better coach now. We'll see what he does another, year or so from now. Let's see. Trey. Yes, they should have left that clause in there. Homework sometimes not a bad thing.
Sponsored by South Carolina Education Lottery. Powerball has added more days to win by adding a Monday night draw. Tonight's jackpot is $47 million. So be sure to stop by your local South Carolina Education Lottery retailer and get your ticket today. See SCEducationLottery.com for jackpot odds in a store near you.
Coming up on a Monday episode of Offsides with Mark Ryan and Diesel, we will be able to
And Diesel. And Diesel.
from the embarrassment against Notre Dame. You will know if I am wearing the yoke if South Carolina won at Florida. We will also talk to Jim Zoki, have onside or offside, and you.
Number one for real afternoon sports talk.
Offsides with Mark Ryan.
3 to 7 on the Fan. The Fan.
Upstate.
Give you the game on the Rob Brown Show.
Only on the Fan.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. It is the Fan Upstate. My name is Rob Brown. Obviously, he is the great one, Lonzo. Appreciate you guys joining us. Let's take a look at the AP Top 25 poll after the college football weekend. That was all but one first place vote going to the Georgia Bulldogs at 10-0. That lone first place vote ends up in the hands of The Ohio State University. They are now in a spot where they and Michigan both, it is effectively when you're in. Georgia topples Mississippi State 45-19. That was, in my opinion, their last real test, right? Georgia's got nobody left between them and an SEC championship game because they've got Kentucky, who just lost to Vandy, and Georgia Tech on Thanksgiving weekend. Now the biggest test remaining for the Dogs is the LSU Tigers, who, with a 13-10 escape of a victory over Arkansas this weekend, clinched the SEC West because of their win over Alabama, who escaped Ole Miss 30-24. Bryce Young, 3 touchdown passes in that one. So Georgia is going to win the SEC East unless they absolutely implode and find a way to lose to Kentucky and Georgia Tech. Your SEC actually, I think they locked, but your SEC championship game is Georgia LSU. All right, it's done. There's no way it's going anywhere else, right? So LSU sits at 6. Tennessee, with a 9-1 record, their only L coming to Georgia, but incapable of winning the Southeastern Conference, now sit at number 5. TCU gets the best shot from Tejas and rolls on. They are now 10-0. Nothing standing between them and a Big 12 championship game. That's irrelevant because they're not going to lose that either. Nobody in the Big 12 can handle TCU right now. You got Michigan and Ohio State at 3-2 at this point. Michigan, Ohio State will play each other. Georgia and LSU, number 1 and number 6, will play each other. That is still on the docket. USC at 9-1 is currently sitting at number 7. Clemson at 9-1 sits down at number 9, and everybody else after that, with the exception, Lonzo, of 9-1 North Carolina, who bumps up to number 13. North Carolina is going to get their crack at the top 10 because they're going to get Clemson in an ACC title game. The Clemson that played Syracuse would lose to North Carolina on a good day. North Carolina, good day. the team that played Louisville yesterday will beat North Carolina. Which one of those two teams shows up? Now, I'll tell you right now, the ACC champion is not going to the playoffs. It's just not. All right. A 2-loss SEC champ will go in before a 1-loss ACC champ. No doubt about that in my brain. The question's going to be, what 1-loss non-SEC champion will go in, right? If LSU beats Georgia, I think Georgia's still in by way of beating Tennessee. If Georgia beats LSU and hands them loss number 3, LSU's got a couple of respectable losses, right? They lost to a very good Tennessee team. They lost to a Florida State team that did drop 3. But the 3 Florida State has dropped were to 3 at the time ranked and somewhat impressive SEC teams. Now, Florida State and Clemson are both being held back now because Wake Forest has dropped out of the top 25. NC State has now dropped out of the top 25 as well, unranked for the first time this season after the Wolfpack were knocked off at home by Boston College this weekend. BC takes the Wolfpack out of the top 25. That hurts Clemson. It hurts FSU. The win over FSU, however, now does help Clemson as FSU in the AP poll has climbed to number 20. So that's a top 20 win now in hindsight, right? But the hypotheticals regarding who gets in are diminishing week by week. And one of the situations I can say you don't need to concern yourself with is, will the ACC champion get in? The answer is no. The ACC champ, pending absolute mass chaos at the end of the year, is done. If Georgia wins the SEC, they are in and Tennessee is in. If LSU wins the SEC, they are in and Georgia is in. If Ohio State beats Michigan, OSU is in. I believe Michigan will fall out. If Michigan beats Ohio State, Michigan is in. I believe Ohio State will fall out. All of that pending TCU remaining undefeated through the Big 12 the rest of the year. But TCU is in a very similar position right now to Clemson. The conference is bad, right? The Big 12 is in tatters right now. An undefeated Big 12 champion would go, just like an undefeated ACC champion would have gone, right? If either North Carolina or Clemson was undefeated, then I think they're in. I don't think that an undefeated conference champion is being left out for a 1-loss non-conference champion. But a 1-loss conference champion in a bad conference could be left out to a 1-loss conference participant, Georgia, to a 2-loss conference champion, LSU, or to a 1-loss conference participant or non-conference participant in Tennessee, because of how drastically better the SEC is than the ACC. The one conference that I think might have a chance at getting a 1-loss non-conference championship participant? Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. 1-loss participant in might be the Big Ten. Might be the Big Ten.
But that would only be if Ohio State lost to Michigan. I think if Ohio State loses to Michigan, they may still have a shot.
Ohio State might have a shot.
I think if it's because of where they've been ranked all year long.
Right. Michigan losing to Ohio State, I think they would need TCU to lose. I think they would need TCU to lose. I think they would need Georgia to win the SEC to bump LSU, and maybe, if it is a really good game, maybe Michigan could get in ahead of Tennessee. Maybe. But honestly, I think Tennessee at 1 loss gets an edge over 1-loss Big Ten, whether it's Michigan or Ohio State. right? If Ohio State, Lonzo, was where Georgia is right now, number one and hanging on to all but one, right? If they had 62 of the 63 first place votes, then I'd say Ohio State could stay in the top four with the loss to Michigan, slide in at number 4 ahead of a one-loss Tennessee. But because Georgia has 62 of 63 available first place votes, I think Tennessee's one loss, even though it wasn't nearly as competitive, you would need, if Ohio State was to lose to Michigan or Michigan lose to Ohio State, you would need it to be like walk-off field goal, overtime, double overtime. Like you would need it to be a really competitive football game.
See, I think the fact that Ohio State has been steady at number 2 pretty much the entire season, I think that bodes better for them than it would Michigan.
I don't disagree. But if you look at the AP point total, it's not the gap between Georgia down to Ohio State is dramatically larger than the gap from Ohio State down to Michigan.
Yeah, but what is the gap in the CFP?
That's what we're waiting for.
Yeah, we don't know that.
That's what we're waiting for. As it stands right now, actually, I lied to you, Zoe. I lied to you. The gap from Georgia down to Ohio State is 73 points. The gap from Ohio State down to Michigan is 48 points. So it's actually a pretty similar gap, even though Georgia has almost all of the first place votes. That means, Lonzo, that there are a pretty good, means there's a pretty good chunk of voters. Not pretty good. There's a decent chunk of voters that have TCU slotted higher than the 4 they are in the AP poll.
Out of all the games left in the rest of the season, isn't Ohio State, Michigan the biggest game?
Easy.
Yeah.
And Georgia, LSU. Georgia, LSU, mainly because that game impacts the destiny of 3 teams.
I'm talking about regular season.
Regular season. Then, yeah, it's Ohio State, Michigan. Ohio State, Michigan's the only one left that matters. Georgia's got nobody left in the regular season. TCU's got nobody left in the regular season, right? They got they got Baylor and Iowa State. They're fine. Tennessee's got nobody left in the regular season. LSU, I don't think LSU does either. I think LSU's pretty clear as well. So, yeah, I mean, Ohio State, Michigan is effectively it. LSU's got A&M and UAB left. UAB, then A&M. They're fine. SC's got Notre Dame. I know, and I don't say this disrespectfully, though somebody's going to take it that way. Yeah, they beat Clemson, but then they turned around this weekend, Lonzo, after beating Clemson. They turned around this weekend and had to hang on to beat Navy. At home, by the way. That was in South Bend. The same Notre Dame team that rocked Clemson the week before skated by a field goal past the midshipmen. They got Boston College and then USC. USC should win that game. But because the Pac-12's not that great and Oregon lost as well, that loss to Oregon hurts too. I mean, it hurts Oregon, but it hurts the Big 12 as a whole. Oregon this weekend ended up with a massive slip against Washington at home, 37-34. They got Utah and Oregon State left through the Ducks. So Ohio State, Michigan is the game remaining in the regular season. Georgia's got nobody. TCU's got nobody. Tennessee's got nobody. LSU's got nobody. USC has Notre Dame. Bama's got Auburn won this weekend. Good win for Auburn this weekend. I mean, granted, it was over, once again, a hot garbage team in Texas A&M, but I think if you're Auburn at this point, you'll take what you can get. They got Western Kentucky and then the Iron Bowl, which Bama will win. Clemson's got nobody, and that's your top 9. So, yeah, we're all looking to Ohio State, Michigan at this point, right? I mean, I'm not looking forward to it because once that one's over, it means it's bowl season and college football's regular season's done, and I don't want that.
Yeah, but we're NFL guys. So, I mean, we have something to fall back on.
True story. True story. All right, kids. Let's take our final break of the day. Come back. We'll hit a little Twitter trending topics and call it a Monday. My name is Rob Brown. The Great Lonzo's at the buttons. You want to sneak in here at the end of the show, 844-326-3663, 844-FAN phone, or give us a buzz on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307, 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, FAN, F-A-N. It is the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate.
On Saturday. Coastal Carolina in the poll this week at number 23. They beat Southern Miss 26-23 on Saturday. The Hornets are reeling. They'll try and snap an 8-game losing skid tonight when they visit the Orlando Magic. Charlotte blown out on the road at Miami on Saturday, 132-115. Some good news, LaMelo Ball back in the lineup after missing 13 games with an ankle injury. Meanwhile, Cody Martin's out at least a month till the
Martin.
Hawks are on the road tonight visiting Milwaukee. NFL 121-109 at Philadelphia on Saturday. The Hawks are 8-5. They're third in the NBA's Eastern Conference. NHL tonight, the Hurricanes visit Chicago. Catch every Carolina Panthers game live on Classic Rock 101.1. Download the Odyssey app and search the Fan Upstate. Then listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Chuck Sanders, and that's your Sports Flash on the Fan Upstate.
I'm Chris Rose with NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network. Christian McCaffrey found the end zone for the second straight week, and the Niners defense limited the Chargers to 51 yards on the ground to secure a 22-16 win on Sunday Night Football. In Buffalo, Josh Allen turned the ball over 3 times, including a game-ending pick in overtime, and Minnesota rallied behind Justin Jefferson's 193 receiving yards as the Vikings outlasted the Bills 33-30. In Green Bay, Packers rolled Mike McCarthy's opponent by the end of rallying a 14-point fourth-quarter deficit to beat the Cowboys 31-28 in overtime. Aaron Rodgers threw 3 scores, and Aaron Jones racked up 138 yards on the ground in the win. And in Munich, Tom Brady is now 4-0 in international games after the Bucs took down the Seahawks 21-16. Winners of 2 straight, Tampa Bay is now in sole possession of first in the NFC South. This has been NFL Network Now on the Westwood One Radio Network.
Where can you start holiday shopping now for a season full of savings? Lowe's, actually. Find prices you love, backed by the Lowe's Price Promise, like the 4-piece LG stainless steel kitchen screen was $4,267, now $2,986, for a total savings of $1,281. Check back daily for deals during Black Friday month and start saving now at Lowe's. Home to any possibility. Offer valid for 11/16. Terms and exclusions apply. See store for details. Learn more at Lowe's.com/price promise.
It's time to gear up for the holiday season. Head over to NFLshop.com today for the largest collection of officially licensed gear from all your favorite brands. NFL Shop is your ultimate gifting destination for jerseys, t-shirts, headwear, and more. Take your game day style to the next level with the best selection of NFL gear anywhere. Show off your team pride this holiday season with styles fit for the whole family.
Really good crowd Saturday morning for that ribbon cutting, by the way. And they were big scissors. They're about this big.
I like it.
They're really big.
If you're going to do a ribbon cutting, you got to have
Yeah.
big scissors and a good ribbon. Yeah, I'm going to go by when I leave here today. I wanted to go Saturday morning, but we vastly underestimated the number of people that were coming Saturday. So I spent all of Saturdays getting the house set up and getting the boiler ready.
It was pretty crowded Saturday.
I saw the pictures of it. It looks like it's huge.
Yeah, it is. I can't justify. I mean, I can describe it, but until you actually go in there.
I'm gonna go by on the way home today when we cut the pot at 12:30.
As I said on the show Saturday, I lost Cameron in there. You can never say that in the old store.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally could not find him.
Yeah.
And I was laughing the whole time. I can't find him because there's that many people in there, and there were people. Lisa's like, man, people were paying a lot. There's some really cool stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that statue before that I told you was a certain price. I was $200 off. It's actually a $900 statue. The Hulk. which I'm guessing makes it a collector's item of some kind, and that's the reason why it's so much.
Oh, yeah.
I bought Japanese mini donuts.
Japanese mini donuts.
Yes, they're individually wrapped. I'll bring a couple tomorrow so you can try it. Although that would hurt you with your trying to lose the 20 pounds.
Yeah, 11 done, by the way.
Good for
it's
you.
taking longer than I want, but
we taste tested them Saturday night. They just taste like donuts.
Here, I'll ask.
They also have the Japanese Kit Kats there, which you should try.
I'll ask the stream because she's not watching.
Make it quick.
We're in a race to lose 20 pounds. When she texts me and she's like, "Can you bring me home a bag of peanut M&Ms?" and I do it, is that cheating? She asked for them. That's not sabotage, right? She asked for them.
I don't know. Maybe remind her.
Do I just be like, "Hey, you're trying to beat me in a bet?" Because she is trying to beat me.
That could backfire on you, though.
That might be faces and heels tomorrow.
All right, time for Twitter trending topics where I tell Rob what is trending on the internets, and he will tell the entire world, universe, multiverse, and places unknown that I had mentioned why it's trending. The first thing that's trending is Gisele Bündchen.
So Gisele we talked about this last week. Gisele bought that mansion that's like directly across the street from Tom Brady's house, and everybody flipped out about it. I'm like, dude, they got kids, right? They got kids. Of course, they're going to live close to each other. They're billionaires. They got kids. They're going to live close to each other. Did she sell it already? You're giving me a smirk like some developing news is happening.
No, apparently she's very chummy with an MMA instructor.
Really? Maybe that's it. Here's all I know. And the only part that matters to me as a sports talk radio host. Tom Brady is undefeated since he got divorced. All right? I'm not saying you all should run out and file the paperwork.
That part doesn't matter to me.
Right.
That's the opposite.
It matters to me because, well, I'm an NFL guy, right? And Tom Brady won me a little cash this weekend because I took Tampa -2.5, and I feel good about it. I'm just saying Tom Brady's undefeated since he got divorced. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
All right, next thing is trending is Kevin Owens.
I haven't seen KO in a minute. Now, I did not watch Raw last week because it was the Monday Raw after Crown Jewel, so I didn't expect there was going to be a whole lot to it. I am in the midst of SmackDown right now. I'm at the end. He wasn't there for that unless I just missed him.
All right. Well, the rumor was that you got to have 5-on-5 for the for Survivor Series, which is coming up. But we already know it's going to be the Brawling Brutes against the Bloodline.
Yep.
And Sammy. And supposedly Kevin Owens was going to be a part of that going against it. Kevin Owens got hurt last night.
Oh, no.
Yes.
Live event?
Yes.
Oh,
so don't know the extent of the injury, but it's a knee injury.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. The next thing that's trending is Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton should be president for life. Let's just put her in charge of everything. She's the best. She's the best person.
Are you going to love this? Jeff Bezos has a thing where he gives millions of dollars to a person to give to charity.
Right.
He gave Dolly Parton $100 million to give to her charities of choice.
That'll go to good use. Dolly's got a program for those of you that are in the baby making / having process. Dolly Parton has a program where you sign up and her charity will send you books for your baby, right? So like your baby can, as your child grows and it goes through their like 10 or 11 years old, she constantly sends them books so that they can learn to read alongside Dolly Parton. She's the best person. All right.
All right. I got to get one more in.
Fire away.
Matt Rule is trending.
Jeff Saturday's a better coach than Matt Rule.
That's why Matt Rule is trending.
Matt Ryan's back, baby. All right, that's it for us. Jim Rome's got you up next in the jungle. Marky Diesel take you offsides at 3. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us tomorrow. Just 3 hours of Clemson because that texter said we still haven't done enough. So just 3 hours of purple and orange tomorrow. That'll be exciting, right? Y'all have a great rest of your Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow to do it all over again and better on the Rob Brown Show and the Fan Upstate. Later, brother. That was a weak brother.
We are filled with an abundance of joy. Also an abundance of questions. Good thing Geico has 24/7 claim service.
to help answer questions and resolve claims quickly.
Good thing Geico has 24/7 claim service.
They're also filled with an abundance of biscuits.
They are also filled with, I don't think it works this way.
Oh, and jam. Don't forget jam.
To manifest more Geico in your life, go to geico.com. It's pro time because at Lowe's, it's Pro.
All right, play.
You can count on like Flex products or power tools starting at just $99. Plus, Lowe's MVPs members earn up to 3 times bonus points per.
All right, let's just go ahead and give it a shot because why not? Let's trust our editing skills without actually seeing or hearing what we edited because we're good like that, right? Look at that. What do you know? I didn't really doubt my skills.
All right, y'all. You're the best. We will see you all